At 4 with the BBC News, I'm John Barnes. Amnesty International has described the deaths of 8 people in the Channel last night as yet another appalling and avoidable tragedy. About 60 people were in a boat heading to the UK when they hit rocks off the coast of Boulogne. The chief executive of the Refugee Council, Enver Solomon, says a new approach is needed to stop people from dying.
These deaths are not inevitable. It's important to note that these are people from countries like Afghanistan fleeing the Taliban, from Syria fleeing bombs and bullets. They are seeking safety in the UK, seeking to be given refugee protection. And we need to look at ways of allowing them to come to the UK without having to take these dangerous journeys.
Police say a woman believed to have been in her 30s has been stabbed to death at Tower Hamlets in East London. A 32-year-old woman has been arrested on suspicion of murder. A Thames Valley police officer has been dismissed without notice for gross misconduct. Slough-based PC Salamen Ahmed was sacked for punching 2 people in the head, pepper spraying them in the face and using abusive language. It follows a misconduct hearing earlier this month which found that the PC breached multiple standards of professional behaviour on 2 separate occasions. The West Midlands Mayor says plans for a new rail line up to Manchester would reduce the burden on the West Coast Main Line. Labour's Richard Parker and the Greater Manchester Mayor Andy Burnham are formally unveiling proposals for a new from the Midlands to the North West rail link today. Mr Parker says it's a far more realistic alternative to High Speed 2.
It's far more pragmatic and far more realistic than previous proposals. My predecessor was supporting, if you like, a replacement for HS2 funded and financed by the private sector. That was never going to work because any rail line needs government underwriting or government support.
Markswell Zoo in Hampshire is celebrating the birth of a critically endangered mountain bongo calf. Keepers at the zoo near Winchester say he's been confident, energetic and adventurous right from the start. There are only about 100 mountain bongos left in the wild. And the singer Eddie Grant has successfully sued Donald Trump for using his song Electric Avenue without permission. Tyler Dunn reports.
We're gonna rock down to Electric Avenue, and then we'll take it.
Eddie Grant named his 1983 hit after Electric Avenue in Brixton, the first market street in London to be lit by electricity. But it's caused a legal headache on the other side of the pond for the man who is again running to be president of the US. 40 seconds of the song was used in a video published on Twitter, now known as X. A judge in New York rejected an argument made by his lawyer that the content was shielded from copyright claims under fair use rules. It's not yet clear how much compensation Eddie Grant will receive.
It's 3 minutes past 4.
Total Sport North East.
BBC Radio Newcastle.
Byrne with a quick ball. Kelly cuts it back. Harvey Barnes! Lloyd Kelly with the cross and Harvey Barnes with the finish at the Gallagher end. Right footed from Barnes, stabbing it across Vicario and inside the far post. Newcastle United 1, Tottenham Hotspur 0. Down Byrne, on to Joelinton. Maddison on him. Joelinton gives him the slip, that's good. Now the ball in behind. Jacob Murphy's in. Jacob Murphy into the penalty area. To Isak into the back of the net. Newcastle United under the cosh in this second half have produced a second goal from nowhere. Joelinton through for Murphy, who took it on and squared it for Alexander Isak, who rolls it into the empty net for his first of the season. Completely and utterly against the run of play. It's Newcastle United 2, Tottenham Hotspur 1.
Yeah, very good results. Really pleased with the start we've made in what, as we know, is such a difficult league. Yeah, performance-wise, we know we still haven't hit top gear. I think we've done well in different passages of each game, but not consistently through the 90 minutes. That's what we're looking to do, and we're going to have to do, because now we go into a spell where we're playing away from home, some difficult games, so we're preparing for that test.
Eddie Howe knows they can play better, but can't argue with the results. Unbeaten so far in League and Cup, could move up to second today, and if they win, it'll be 10 points from 4 Premier League matches, which will have been their best start to a Premier League season since 95-96. 96. It's Newcastle United away to Wolverhampton Wanderers, live on BBC Radio Newcastle from Molineux. 4:30 kickoff, and there are 3 changes to the Magpies starting 11. Back from suspension, Fabian Schär. Lewis Hall comes in at left back, and Jacob Murphy is also restored to the starting lineup. The players who drop out are Lloyd Kelly, Emil Kraft, who's had a minor injury problem during the international break, and Harvey Barnes. Those 3 are all on the bench, as is Sandro Tonali. 90 minutes twice for Italy, but yet to start a Premier League fixture for Newcastle since his return from suspension. The 11 in full: Pope in goal, Livramento, Schär, Byrne and Hall in defence, Longstaff, Bruno and Joelinton in midfield, and the front 3 of Murphy, Gordon, who'll be back on the left-hand side, and Isak. Newcastle's substitutes today are Dubravka, Trippier, Tonali, Barnes, Kraft, Osula, Almiron, Kelly and Willock. And Eddie Howe hinted on Friday at his pre-match news conference that Joe Willock was close to returning. The thigh injury he sustained at Nottingham Forest, thankfully not serious, and a big boost to have him available and in the squad after he missed the Spurs match. John Anderson, good afternoon to you.
Razor, how are you?
I'm all right, thank you. Here we are at a wet, grey, miserable Molineux. It's always like that when we come here, isn't it? No reflection, I'm sure, on the city, just coincidence. Whenever Newcastle come, the conditions aren't the best, but big opportunity for them today, isn't it, to build on the good results that they've had at the start of the season, but it would be great to do it with a stronger and more convincing overall performance as well, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I think you want both, but I don't think you can argue with the start of the season that we've had. We know that the performances haven't been up to what we've seen last season, but you can't argue with results. You know, at the end of the day, it's all about getting those results by hook or by crook. We've managed to do that. We've got 7 points on the board from the games that we've played. We've had this international break as well. He's been able to get some players that he's been able to work with. Unfortunately, he's had quite a few who've been away as well. But coming here is never easy. You know, it always seems to be a dour type of game as well. You know, they haven't been great games. Was it 7 of the last 9 have all ended in 1-1 draws? So it's not the easiest place in the world to come. Wolves has conceded 6 here already this season against Chelsea. So you think there's a weakness, there's a flaw defensively in them. So hopefully we'll be able to exploit that today with the pace that we've got up front.
Fitness levels haven't been. Well, Eddie Howe said that players were not at their optimum level of fitness, so the break was going to be important for that. Now, those that stayed have obviously had 2 weeks of Newcastle training. Those that were away for their countries got quite a bit of football as well, so it feels like in that sense pretty much all of the players, I know some had long journeys, Almiron and Bruno will have benefited. Gordon playing big part for England, Isak doing well for Sweden, Tonali I've already mentioned, and then those that stayed, he's been able to work with them, and they do need that, don't they? It's such a big part, one of the tenets of their game, isn't it, the intensity and the high levels of fitness.
Yeah, look, we talk about international breaks, don't we, whether they come at a good or a bad time for you. This one probably came at a good time for us, because the likes of Tonali's been away, played 180 minutes football for his country. Gordon played in both games for England, will have stood him in great stead. Young Hall's been away, played for England under 21s, man of the match. Isak's been away, scored goals for Sweden, so that's a huge bonus. On the other hand, the players that stayed here, Eddie Howe has had an opportunity to work with them and get over the ideas that he wants. So all in all, it's been a good break, and we don't often say that too often about international breaks. But look, that fitness comes with playing games. You know, you can train day in, day out, but it's all about getting to match standard fitness, and the only way that you can do that is by playing in games.
Today Newcastle are going to be wearing their new away kit for the first time in competitive football. It's the remake of the 95-96 maroon and blue hooped shirts. Blue shorts it looks like, based on what the players are wearing during their warm-up. Newcastle have got the half to the left as we look, we're just below the television camera position. Away fans on the far side. They have the lower section, but the entire length of the stand on the far side, which is in 2 tiers. Got some hospitality boxes, and then Wolves supporters in the upper section. Take a look at that team for us then, Ando. Cher, Hall and Murphy for Kraft, Kelly and Barnes. He's got a lot in reserve today that he could use to bring on to change things if necessary. But what about the 11 that starts? Because there may be some supporters who feel that individually that might not be the best or strongest 11.
Yeah, I always thought Cher was going to come back in. You know, he served his suspension. It might be a little bit harsh on Emil Kraft, who's been excellent for us. You know, I thought he was exceptional against Spurs, but Kraft is better on the ball, there's no doubt about that. You know, he can pass it short, he can carry it out from the back, he can go long. You know, people were saying Tonali. I always thought Tonali would be on the bench because of the 2 games that he's played, and Eddie Howe can be a little bit cautious, and it looks like that's what they're being with Tonali today. Surprised that Barnes isn't in the side, I have to say, but he's probably gone with Murphy more for his defensive abilities, you know, his willingness to get back and track people. And one thing, I'm not saying that Barnes doesn't do it, but I think Murphy's more comfortable doing that. So Lewis Hall coming back in. I thought Kelly yet again played well against Spurs. I thought defensively he was solid. You know, unless Kelly's got some sort of a knock or whatnot, I'm not sure. But no problem with Hall coming back in, because his confidence will be sky high now, especially after his last performance for England's under-21s when he got man of the match. So big opportunity for him again today.
Feels like a phased return to action, doesn't it, for Sandro Tonali? And there's no rush either.
No.
When they have 3 other central midfielders fit and able to start, Joe Willock back as well on the bench today. We're all really keen to see Tonali, but at some point he will start games and start regularly. But Eddie Howe feeling that today is not yet the right time for Tonali to come back into the midfield for Newcastle. Pope, Livramento, Cher, Byrne, Hall, Longstaff, Bruno, Joelinton, Murphy, Gordon, who's back on the left, and Isak up front. If Alexander Isak scores today, he'll go to 33 Premier League goals for Newcastle, and that will take him into their top 10 of Premier League goal scorers. Ayoze Perez is the player that is just behind in the current standings. Isak on 32, Perez with 33 Newcastle Premier League goals. He will get there, and get there quite quickly. It may well be today for Alexander Isak, leading the Newcastle attack. Callum Wilson hasn't had a setback, Eddie Howe says, but is a little bit behind schedule in his recovery from a back injury, so not quite ready to, as the manager put it, make the final push towards full fitness. No time frame on Wilson's return to action, so Isak very much the main man. William Osula on the bench. We haven't yet seen Osula in a competitive environment in a Newcastle shirt. So unbeaten start. In terms of going second, well, Arsenal beat Spurs in the North London derby earlier. It means Arsenal are on 10 points, which is what Newcastle will climb to if they win. Arsenal currently 3 goals better off, so it may be more realistic that third place is where they go with a win, but they're currently 8th after all the other weekend games. This is the final Premier League match of the weekend. There are cup ties and European games being played in midweek. Wolves, they're at the other end of the table, Ando, aren't they? Without a win, 1 point from 3 games, but they suffered defeats in matches against Arsenal away and Chelsea here, so 2 tough ones, and then probably a decent point away at Nottingham Forest in their last game.
Well, Forest unbeaten this season. Forest went to Liverpool yesterday and won. I don't think many people saw that coming. It's been a tough start for Wolves. You know, they've had to get rid of their better players as well because of PSR.
That's Max Kilman and Pedro Neto.
Yeah, definitely. Kilman was their skipper, held them together at the back. Neto, good player. You know, pace, direct. So, you know, the opponents that they've played this season, it's been tough. You know, to go to Arsenal, it was always going to be a tough one there. The 6-1 here against Chelsea was a real strange result. It was one that I don't think anybody would have predicted that scoreline, but it is what it is. They've got to get over it. But I think their confidence will be a little bit fragile. You know, a little bit on the low side. Conceding 6 goals in your own backyard doesn't sit well. So there's a lot of pressure on them to try and rectify that here today.
Looks like there might be some tweaks to the Wolves' way of playing, to the system today. They've made one change. The defender Totti Gomez drops out and he's been replaced by a midfielder, Andre, one of Wolves' summer signings. 7 new players brought into their first team squad over the summer. Here's how they line up. One of the new players, goalkeeper Sam Johnston, signed from Crystal Palace on deadline day for £10 million. He's gone straight in as their first choice keeper, Johnston. Right back, Nelson Semedo. 2 centre-halves are Yerson Mosquera, Colombian international, and Craig Dawson, with Ryan Ait-Nouri at left back. It might be a 4-2-3-1. Looks as if it will be that way for Wolves. With Andre, the Brazilian international. They signed him from Fluminense in Brazil. £21 million last month. He was in the Brazil squad, played with Bruno during the international break. Andre, this is his first Premier League start. Mario Lemina, the new captain of Wolves after Max Kilman was sold to West Ham. He's also going to sit in the middle. On the right-hand side, Jean-Rigner Bellegarde and Mateus Cunha, their top scorer last season with 14 goals on the left. João Gomez might play a bit further forwards. He is a good player, one of the Wolves fan favourites, João Gomez, and probably just behind Jørgen Strand Larsen, the Norwegian international, 6'4" striker who's on loan from Celta Vigo. So there's a couple of new names in the Wolves team. They didn't finish last season too strongly, 14th in the end, and one of the Premier League teams without a win at this point, Gary O'Neill's side. He has named on the bench Jose Sarr, the keeper, previously first choice, but now back up to Sam Johnston. Matt Doherty, Santiago Bueno, Hwang Hee-chan, Rodrigo Gomez, Tommy Doyle, Pablo Sarabia, Carlos Forbes and Gonzalo Guedes. That's how the hosts look. Newcastle, Hall, Share and Murphy come in for Kelly, Kraft and Barnes. You listen to BBC Radio Newcastle. About 10 minutes until we get underway at Molineux for Newcastle, away to Wolves. It's their second Premier League match away from home this season. They took a point from Bournemouth on the road, and then they drew in 90 minutes with Nottingham Forest at the City Ground in the League Cup before going through on penalties. But away form longer term has been an issue for Newcastle. Look at last season, 11 Premier League defeats on the road. Hopefully they can get 3 points on their travels today, but the manager knows the away form compared to how they do things on Tyneside he simply has to get better?
Well, I think it's more the inspiring aspect of St James's Park is so big for us. The environment is so good. It's so weighted in our favour. The supporters have been incredible. That's elevated our levels without a shadow of a doubt. And then you go away, the environment's different. The away support has been incredible. We need to reward that away support with more wins. A lot of that, I think, comes down to defensive performance. If you're not conceding goals and you're in games, I think we have the quality to take games in any situation. So I think if we defend well first, I think that will give us a great chance.
And while you haven't lost yet, Wolves, your opponents on Sunday, haven't won, but they have had a couple of difficult fixtures, haven't they? Arsenal and Chelsea in there, and then a draw with Forest. What do you make of the way that they've changed this season, because they also lost a couple of big players in the summer?
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right. I think you can look at the early results and draw conclusions that aren't accurate. I think very tough start for them. I think they played well in their last game against Nottingham Forest. That was a very even game, could have gone either way. And even the games against Chelsea was one of those freak results because the game was tighter than the scoreline suggests, and Arsenal, they were right in the game as well. So always tough opponents, Wolves. A lot of respect for Gary and the job that he's done there, having knowing him personally. Yeah, I think he's done a great job.
Total Sport North East.
Matthew Raisbeck and black and white legend John Anderson.
BBC Radio Newcastle.
Eddie Howe and Gary O'Neill were teammates at Portsmouth in the early and mid-2000s. Howe playing there relatively briefly, in between spells at Bournemouth, so they know each other well. They've both also managed Bournemouth. Gary O'Neill about a season in charge, and then came to Wolves ahead of the campaign last year, and going into a second season, obviously losing a couple of big players, and I think the match that you referenced, Ando, their heavy home defeat by Chelsea, was a very open sort of game, wasn't it? How do you think that approach will play into Newcastle's hands potentially with the players they've got there, and could they be again a bit deeper maybe Newcastle, but look at the way that Hall and Livramento get forwards from fullback, possibly try and hit them on the counter-attack?
I think if Wolves play that type of game, they could be in big trouble, because they leave themselves wide open. I think with the pace that we've got up top, could cause them all sorts of problems. But will they have learned anything from the Chelsea game? We'll find out soon enough. Will they be as open? I don't know, but look, the onus is on them to come and attack us as well, because they're the home side. They'll be expected to come and have a go. I think if they do that, I think we showed against Spurs how well we can defend. We've got two banks of four, we got bodies behind the ball, we fill areas, fill holes. So if they do that, I would expect us to sit deep and counter-attack, look to hit them on the break, look to use the pace of Murphy, Isak, Gordon,
and Fabian Schär's ball playing ability, whether it's his ability to carry and then release it, or the long balls that he can hit on the diagonal. They can get you from one end of the pitch to the other in a few seconds, and they've missed that when Schär hasn't been available through his period of suspension.
Yeah, look, the one thing he does well, he carries the ball forward. If a gap opens up, he's more than happy to come forward and get himself into it. He can spray those diagonal balls from right to left. He can go long down the line. He can go into the front man. His range of passing is excellent. We've missed that. There's no doubt about it, because it's an outlet for us, especially with the pace that we've got up top. You can ping it over the top and use the pace of the three boys that I've already mentioned.
BBC Radio Newcastle with commentary on Wolves against Newcastle United on the way in about 5 minutes' time. If you are listening to us but you are looking for Simon Logan's 80s and 90s, you'll be able to catch up with Simon's show on the BBC Sounds app later today. And Total Sport is back tomorrow with John Anderson, Simon Pride and Marco Gabbiadini, where they'll look back on all the weekend's football action. The defeat for Sunderland yesterday, all the non-league football, and they'll be taking your calls as they do every weekday evening between 6 and 8. But if you miss the show live, you can always hear it again on BBC Sounds anytime, wherever you are in the world. Newcastle and Wolves players lining up in the tunnel. The captains Mario Lemina and Bruno Guimaraes near to the end of the tunnel as the goalkeepers Nick Pope and Sam Johnston have a high five and then a quick embrace. The giant screens at Molineux, Ando, in opposite corners, have shown some goals, the Wolves goals from previous meetings in the Premier League, but they're not normally classics, even at St James's Park, but especially here, where, as you said earlier, 9 previous Premier League meetings, 7 draws, and 6 of the 7 draws have finished 1-1. I don't think hopes are high for this one being a classic. It is in the prime Premier League slot on Sunday afternoon, which is maybe a bit of a surprise because it doesn't normally serve up particularly thrilling football, does it? Wolves against Newcastle, different managers, different players, but usually the same end result.
Yeah, it's one of those games, isn't it? You look at games through the season and you think, well, is that really a game that you would pick for television purposes, especially prime time, when you look at some of the games that we've had here over the years? As you say, they haven't been classics. They've always been tight games. Hopefully, if it's a tight one today, we come out on the right side of it. But you're right in what you say. It's usually a grind. The quality in this game, it hasn't been great, but look, it's at the end of the day, it's all about just getting the result and getting the right result.
Teams are with us, Newcastle United and Wolves, led out by the referee Chris Kavanagh from Greater Manchester. Newcastle have actually lost the last 4 games they played that he's been in charge of. He's assisted by Lee Betts and Richard West. Simon Hooper is the 4th official, and on VAR today, John Brooks, assisted by Timothy Wood. Some of the Wolves ball boys have taken a giant surfer with the gold and black club crest away from the centre circle over to the far corner. But there's lots of individual Wolves black and gold flags being waved and held aloft as part of a pre-match display. Newcastle do that very, very well. Most other clubs have something, all part of the match day atmosphere at Molineux as the players embrace, high-five each other. Newcastle now go and shake the hand of the referee. The starting 11 chosen by Eddie Howe: Nick Pope, Tino Livramento, Fabian Schär, Dan Burn, Lewis Hall. Sean Longstaff, 150th Premier League appearance for the midfielder. Bruno Guimaraes, Joe Linton, Jacob Murphy, Anthony Gordon and Alexander Isak, who got the winner against Spurs and then scored 3 times for Sweden over the international break.
Every striker, attacking player has that need and want to score goals. He will feel good about himself, no doubt. Having watched the games back, he played very well, took his goal superbly well, and added that to the Tottenham goal in a big moment for us, scoring the winning goal. I think he will now hopefully be full of confidence. I think there's always a group that are really important to the team, and when they play well, the team plays better. I think Alex is certainly one of those players. He has all the qualities that we need, but ultimately we need to get him absolutely at his best, because I think when he is, he's a game changer.
The goal against Tottenham for Isak will have been a massive boost to him, a first this season, and then he was doing it on international duty as well. He's probably one of those players, as I think the manager acknowledged there, John Anderson, that hasn't been at full pelt at 100% so far.
It's been tough for him this season because he hasn't had a great deal of chances. You know, we're not creating a lot of chances for him. You know, he showed the ability and the quality that he had last season. He's just a top player. You know, if you get him the ball in the right areas, in and around the penalty area, expect him to score. You know, that's how good he is. So it's all about getting him the ball in the right area of the pitch. You know, he can drift wide, he can make things happen, but he's at his best and at his most lethal in the middle of that 18-yard box.
And he is the man about to kick us underway on BBC Radio Newcastle and NUFC TV. The maroon and blue away kit, blue shorts, maroon socks, Pope in light blue against Wolves, gold shirt, black shorts and gold socks. Goalkeeper Johnston in a mint green kit, referee all in black, and the match has started with Newcastle shooting towards the goal to our right hand side. Ball is in the left back position with Lewis Hall, into Bruno and now Joelinton, and under a bit of pressure they found Fabian Schär, who delayed the pass but then whips it out to Jacob Murphy on the near side. They're in the middle of their own half, Newcastle, and Lewis Hall's got it. They've kept possession pretty well, and Anthony Gordon looking to start the first attack of the match after 30 seconds. Inside to Isak, ball to the left wing to Joelinton, cut out by Wolves. Hall to Gordon now. Newcastle with possession again. Bruno to Longstaff, and they come over from the far left hand side next to the away fans to this near right hand side. Jacob Murphy brought back in one of three changes. Isak with a flick, it's blocked. Wolves have possession. Aït-Nouri to the big defender Mosquera on the edge of the area. Pressure from Longstaff means he has to play it back to Johnston, and the new goalkeeper long towards halfway. It's out of Mateus Cunha, or it would have been, but he decided to shove Tino Livramento over. Newcastle have a free kick near to the touchline by halfway, and back it goes to Fabian Schär. Livramento got purple boots, Scher's got orange, Dan Burn's got blue, and Lewis Hall's got bright green. It's a colourful back four, isn't it?
Yeah, there's not many black boots around now, is there?
Defenders wearing multicoloured boots. And it's now with Jacob Murphy, who's got white boots on. Just ahead of halfway, looking for Isak. Made a good run into the penalty area. It rears up and Isak takes it down with control with a header in the corner, and now back to Livramento, 30 yards out, wide to Isak again. Nobody in the box but players on the edge of the area. Isak twisting, turning, back to Bruno, and it's with Dan Burn in the centre circle as Newcastle go back and build their way forwards once more, with Gordon on the left taking on Nelson Semedo, drifting inside. Short ball to Bruno just outside the area, round the back towards Murphy, but Aït-Nouri with a really important header. And it's Jean-Rickner Bellegarde tries to smack it up the pitch. It's out of Livramento, and a throw at left back for Wolves.
Yeah, decent start. Been decent on the ball.
It's a goal kick, actually.
I thought it was a throw in as well, Reza.
So did some of the Newcastle players.
Yeah.
0-0, 3 minutes gone on BBC Radio Newcastle. The Wolves team again. Johnston in goal, Semedo, Mosquera, Dawson, Aït-Nouri, Andre, Lamina, João Gomez, Bellegarde, Mateus Cunha and Strand Larsen. Joelinton wins it back near to halfway for Sean Longstaff. Gordon's on his bike, wanted it quickly, didn't come, and with outstretched arms he looks back and asks why the ball wasn't played in behind. Gordon's now dropped into the hole, gives it back to Bruno, left of centre. Joelinton trying to find Hall on the touchline. Lewis Hall's got it, back to Dan Burn, and across halfway to Fabian Schär. It's skimmed off his studs and got away, but there's no one near him in a Wolves shirt, so Schär retrieves, and at walking pace comes inside, plays a short ball to Burn, and now Hall to Bruno, flicked on to Isak for Longstaff, through for Jacob Murphy into the penalty area. Gordon far post, Murphy's cross is blocked. It's good, quick, slick play just couldn't find Gordon with the delivery. Livramento with the throw. It's about level with the penalty spot. Attacking the goal to the right. Murphy back towards Livramento. It's a bit tight, but they've kept possession. Longstaff to Murphy. Inside for Joelinton. Bruno tried to get away from his man and has lost the ball to Mateus Cunha, but Joelinton coming round the other side. Good recovery challenge. Newcastle have possession once again, and they're on it now on the left wing. Hall to Gordon, taking on Semedo. Away fans right behind Anthony Gordon. Corner of the area. Gets it back from Joelinton. Gordon then hangs up the cross. Isak takes the touch, and then a shot on the turn is blocked by Dawson. Joelinton near to the Wolves penalty area, going backwards with the ball. Lewis Hall forced into his own half with a pass to Dan Burn, and they're keeping possession. Wolves are better.
Yeah, it's been good. It's been a real decent start. Retention of the ball has been good. It's been better than we've seen for most of the season, but for all the season so far. One thing that we've been on about is keeping the ball. We haven't been able to keep the ball in games, but this has been a real bright start.
Back to Nick Pope, and the goalkeeper gets it again from Fabian Schär. Eddie Howe went back to the bench for a chat with someone. Now goes pitch side, hands on hips, all in black. Gary O'Neill watching from the edge of the Wolves technical area as the ball goes long into the penalty box. Murphy and Isak chasing. Johnston away. Header up from Strand Larsson's big lad, 6'4". Joelinton's a big boy in the Newcastle midfield, and there he wins it unopposed. Plays it back to the goalkeeper, and Fabian Schär's got it. Forwards to Longstaff. Under pressure, Livramento back to Schär. And Dan Burn for Lewis Hall. Gordon up the line, gets it, comes inside, it's away from Joelinton, and Wolves have an opportunity for the first time in the match in the 7th minute to attack, and they play it straight out of play. Hall with a quick one towards Gordon, but the throw was too long. Mario Lemina in the Wolves midfield, in behind but overhit, and Nick Pope comes and claims.
Can't keep it, can they, Wolves?
It's a positive, energetic
it's like what we were saying about us earlier in the season.
This is Isak.
He's in.
And Jacob Murphy's away from Isak's ball. Murphy! It's tipped over by Johnston. He went for the early shot. Johnston was a long way off his line. Murphy went high, and the goalkeeper put his arm up and clipped it over the top. He was onside from Isak's through ball and took the shot at the edge of the D. It's a big chance. They've got a corner.
Yeah, was it the right decision? Could he have bent it round the keeper? The keeper was a long way out, wasn't he? But it was a chance. Just drifted between the two centre backs. Little ball played in. It's on his left foot as well. He just tried to lift it. Keeper's got a touch on it over the top of the crossbar.
He could even have dinked it over the keeper, but they've got a corner which they've taken. Gordon to Murphy. Now Hall. In comes the cross. Big deflection. Johnston catches the deflection. Took all the whip out of the ball and saw it loop up. Easy for the goalkeeper. He'll be disappointed there, Jacob Murphy.
Yeah, he'll feel it was a chance.
Oh, Isak closing down the keeper, who very nearly got caught. Sam Johnston delayed the clearance, and Isak got a boot on the ball as it was being played. It just wouldn't come for Murphy on the right hand side, and Wolves get away with one there. Now Joelinton intercepting in midfield. The match is maybe going to open up a bit. Ball's hit the referee, so Newcastle have a free kick in the centre circle. Going back to the chance, they had a lot of possession in the opening 5, 6, 7 minutes. What they hadn't created was an opportunity, which they did.
Yeah, that was it was a good move, good run by Murphy. Just drifted in between the two centre backs, got the wrong side of Dawson. Yeah, and as you say, Reza, you feel it was a real chance.
Gordon into Isak, 0-0, but Newcastle started brightly, and Isak looking pretty sharp, as is Gordon. Here's Isak wide on the left, tries to take on his man. He's got a throw near the corner flag. Yes, and Mosquera is arguing with referee Chris Kavanagh, saying it should be a Wolves throw. Newcastle got the ball back in play from a bit further back. Obviously went out about level with the edge of the box. That's where they took it from. Lewis Hall's on the ball on that far side. Gordon drops in and rolls it back to the feet of Dan Burn. Here's Bruno. Cher's got it. Murphy tight to the near touchline. Receives it from Cher. Inside towards Livramento. Might get away. Livramento. It's the
unlucky. You could see what he was trying to do. He was trying to slide it down the side for Isak. Isak's gone the other way though.
I wanted Isak to run across and wide rather than make the move into the centre. So that one didn't quite come off. But positive early signs at Molineux. Nick Pope leaves his penalty area, sticks the ball out of play. The ball rolled up the pitch by Wolves. Throw taken by Aït-Nouri to Strand Larsen. Back to Pope. Not the best kick, but it's away from the penalty area. Straight to the Wolves midfielder João Gomes.
Great touch.
Inside to Mateus Cunha. Towards Nelson Semedo. Brought down on the far side. And João Gomes in the middle. He, along with Mateus Cunha, possibly Wolves' standout players.
Great ball.
There's a ping from the back to right wing to Nelson Semedo. Gets away from Lewis Hall. Low left-footed shot that Nick Pope
threw his cap on.
Yeah. Almost pats it down and then picks it up. It lacked power after he drifted in.
Yeah, he drifted in. It was a swinger, wasn't it? Didn't get a great deal on it. Comfortable save.
2 wins out of the opening 3 matches for Newcastle. Last time they won 3 out of the opening 4 in the Premier League was in the year 2000 as Nick Pope took his time, a la Sam Johnson at the other end, and Mateus Cunha charged him down, but Pope got the ball away. 24 years since they won 3 of their first 4 Premier League matches. It was in the 2000-2001 season under Sir Bobby Robson. Can do it today, it would cement their good start in terms of results. Joelinton looking for Longstaff, cut out near the edge of the area. Aït-Nouri, he's got nowhere to go, finds Andre with a backwards pass, then Dawson across the penalty area to Johnston, and the goalkeeper rolls it short to Nelson Semedo. Inside to Andre, the little Brazilian midfielder wearing 7 for Wolves. Aït-Nouri to Bellegarde, tackled by Livramento, and it's a throw on the near side. Wolves will feel it. It's been a bit better for them in the last couple of minutes. 0-0 though.
Yeah, it's been a quiet start for them, hasn't it? They haven't been able to get a hold of the ball. They haven't been able to keep it.
A lot of noise coming from the travelling Newcastle fans.
A lot of empty seats inside Molineux, isn't there?
There are in home areas. The away section looks packed, but supporters all on their feet. It's a weird away section, isn't it? The length of the stand on the far side, pitch level. Don't normally get that kind of view in an away section, as Livramento is penalised for a sliding challenge on Bellegarde. Might have got a bit of the ball, got a bit of the man as well. His back leg caught the ball, but he got the player first. Free kick, near side of the pitch, 14th minute, in towards Lamina. Bruno gets a toe on it, but then Strand Larsen gets the second ball, but he's offside. Free kick taken quickly, maybe too quickly, but
yeah, it was inside
from the wrong place.
It was inside the Wolves' half, wasn't it?
BBC Radio Newcastle with Lewis Hall for Newcastle. That's a good run from left back into the final third. Isak wide to Gordon, back first time to Gordon from Hall. 30 yards out, Newcastle United. Wolves have kept 2 up ahead of the ball, Strand Larsen and midfielder Lamina. Fabian Schär on it now, just inside the Wolves half. Livramento into Murphy, and then on towards Longstaff. They've got a throw out of it. Livramento picks the ball up, gives it to Jacob Murphy. He's played it against Strand Larsen. And another Newcastle ball next to the Wolves bench. Livramento goes back down the line to Schär, inside first time to Byrne, and Hall for Joelinton. The possession stats from the first few matches not good for Newcastle. They've dominated the ball here, they've had so much of it, and on the attack up the left wing, Gordon wins a throw 15 yards out, gets it back from Joelinton, inside again to Joelinton, holds onto it well under pressure. Hall wide to Gordon, Isak and Murphy in the box. Joelinton on the inside edge of the area, might hit it, taken off his toes by Lamina. He stayed down, Joelinton, and it's up to Strand Larsen from Wolves, who are trying to get bodies forwards. Dan Byrne back to Nick Pope. Joelinton is still down. It was just taken off him. It wasn't seemingly a foul. They might have to put it out here to let him get some treatment. That's the sort of thing that can hurt. I don't know if he kicked the floor, Joelinton, or maybe it's just embarrassment, but he sold Mosquera the dummy. Lamina came in, he took a swing and missed the ball.
Yeah, there was no contact with the Wolves player. Oh, he's alright. Strange one.
Good to see. It's back up anyway. Tino Livramento has been across to the touchline in the meantime for a drink from a water bottle and a word with Eddie Howe. Livramento didn't get on for England, unfortunately, during the break, but his first senior international call-up. Newcastle, having put the ball out, have been giving it back to them by Wolves, and Nick Pope on to Fabian Schär as Sandro Tonali, Harvey Barnes and Miguel Almiron go up the pitch to warm up. Livramento in a central midfield position, dispossessed. Mateus Cunha for Wolves, edge of the area. Livramento's won it back. Cunha then wins it again. It's a good battle. Newcastle with Bruno there and Hall. There's 3 of them trying to stop Mateus Cunha from making something happen, and it'll be a Wolves throw next to the corner flag. 0-0.
Yeah, he did well, didn't he? Had 3 of them round him. Good pressure though.
Kieran Trippier also warming up along the touchline, far left side. Wolves have another throw, similar position. They go back towards halfway with it now. Dawson, the 34-year-old centre-back. Murphy and Isak pressing. Aït-Nouri to the goalkeeper, edge of the area. Isak's right on top of him, and Johnston's ball is out of play. That's the press applied quickly and hard, and they've forced Wolves to give the ball back to Newcastle through this throw. Back into their half with it, Schär and Byrne. Joelinton on the left, Hall goes beyond, they're on halfway. Bruno inside, Joelinton turns, goes on the outside, back inside. He's run into traffic, then Longstaff intercepts. Hall gets there with a step over, turns away from Strand Larsen into Byrne. They've done well to recover possession at times, Newcastle, and they lost it there through Joelinton. But
yeah,
didn't let Wolves get away.
Big boy up front for Wolves isn't retaining the ball.
It's Schär on the diagonal. Gordon might get on the end of this. Down at the edge of the area, Anthony Gordon. Newcastle players look to the referee. Nothing given, and Johnston has the ball in 2 hands.
Yeah, I don't think there was a great deal in that, was it? It was just a straight ball over the top. He went looking for something that wasn't there, Gordon. Nobody appealed for anything. There was no appeals from any of the players, which is a little bit of a giveaway.
Isak had his arms outstretched, turned in the direction of the referee, but play continued. Gordon's back up, 0-0 at Molineux. Mateus Cunha looking lively, then Mario Lemina slips as he tried to cross. Share to Longstaff, back to Pope. It was fired in at the keeper from Longstaff, but away to Livramento. Can't go forwards, has to go back to Share. His ball, high ball up towards halfway. It beats both Aït-Nouri and Murphy, and Jacob Murphy was coming back from an offside position to challenge. Wolves have a free kick about 5 yards behind the halfway line. 20 minutes played. They're looking for Aït-Nouri. Livramento there, and it's a foul by the home left in the back, wasn't it? Yeah. Makes his way back into position in defence as Newcastle play the ball along the floor over to the far left side. Gordon taking on Semedo, but still in the middle part of the pitch. Gordon back to Share, and he was caught after the ball had gone by Semedo, who tracked him all the way, so it's been brought back for a free kick.
Yeah, I thought he would have let that go actually, because we had possession of the ball. Unless he wanted a word with Semedo to say the next time you do that, you're in trouble.
Share back to Pope. And Burn for Hall. Gordon's got a couple of yards on Semedo. He's gone backwards. Then a forward ball to Murphy. Spins. Looks for the wide left position. It's come through to Lewis Hall. Isak at the edge of the area, but Hall's ball was behind Isak, and Wolves get it clear. Burn with a header, and now Bruno to Longstaff in the centre circle. Bit of space for Livramento on halfway, and Newcastle midfield possession. 0-0 though, and Murphy with the best chance of the game. Played in, edge of the area, went high with the shot. Keeper off his line, pushed it over. Long diagonal ball forwards. Nelson Semedo header. Joelinton all over Andre.
That's what you call a body wrap. He's complaining to the referee as well.
Free kick given to the home side, who, while they haven't won in the Premier League, did win in the League Cup 2-0 here against Burnley. And on Wednesday, round 3, it's an all Premier League tie for Wolves. They are away to Brighton. Is that offside or was it handball?
No, handball by Larsson. Nothing stuck to him, has it?
Jørgen Strand Larsen. They'll pay £23 million for him permanently if certain clauses are triggered in his loan contract. They haven't said what the clauses are, but seems like a safe bet he'll be their player. That's a good turn and spin by Gordon, and he's still going. What a run! Anthony Gordon into the penalty area. He's hit the post. It would have been some goal after a brilliant run from Gordon. Just couldn't produce the right finish.
Oh, that's brilliant. I mean, he just turns away from Semedo. Tries to bend it. Would have been some goal, as you say, Razor. Great ability, isn't it? Great pace running with the ball as well. Oh, it's a great effort.
Oh, he's so unlucky.
Yeah.
Fabulous from Gordon.
Yeah.
I just watched the replay, and then there's Isak at the back of the box with his arms outstretched, wanting it rolled back. You cannot criticise Gordon for taking on the shot after that brilliant run. It remains 0-0, but Newcastle have been better in a general sense than they have been so far this season in terms of performance. They've also been the better team today as well. Wolves have a throw high up on the left. They go backwards with it and now into central midfield. 24 played on BBC Radio Newcastle. Aït-Nouri. The line to Lamina, flicks it through his legs onto Bellegarde. Share with him. Bellegarde turns back. sends over the cross, big header away by Joe Linton, collected on the left wing by João Gomes. He's got 9 caps for Brazil. Plays it inside to Andre, who's got 7 caps for Brazil, the Wolves midfield. A switch of play, Gordon intercepts and then finds Byrne, and now Hall. What a run that was, it deserved a goal. It was fantastic.
Oh, you've got to get hold of it.
Joe Linton's lost it. Now Nelson Semedo rides a couple of challenges, rolls it back to Mateus Cunha, but they get the block in, and Hall for Gordon. They try to break Newcastle. Look at big Dan Byrne up the left wing on his way. Gordon slows it down.
Get back soon.
Longstaff to Joe Linton, and now Bruno, and the big man does make his way back. Newcastle calm things down. They have possession in defence with Fabian Schär. The team: Pope, Livramento, Schär, Byrne, Hall, Longstaff, Bruno, Joe Linton, Murphy, Gordon, Isak. Here's Anthony Gordon again. Alexander Isak gets away from 2 gold shirts. Still going Isak. For Hall, wide left. Back through for Isak. Turns. Forced into the corner. Still got it, Isak. Trying to beat his man. It's a good battle, but it's a Wolves decision. It's either goal kick or free kick. It's free kick.
Free kick.
Would have been a goal kick anyway.
Soft free kick.
Went out off Isak. The block from the cutback at the other end from Nelson Semedo was from Bruno, who got back well to stop Mateus Cunha potentially testing Nick Pope. It's 0-0 at Molineux. Schär, bit of a dodgy back pass to the goalkeeper, but Nick Pope takes a touch, gets it away. It's gone out on halfway, has it? Yes. Oh,
no, it hasn't.
Rolled along the line, and they decided to keep it in through Aït-Nouri. Back with Dawson. Newcastle have pushed right up, haven't they? Their starting position is higher today than it has been.
Dear.
Out of play from João Gomes in midfield for Wolves.
Yeah, starting positions higher up the pitch compared to the opening games that we've seen.
Livramento to Bruno, tried to head it back and headed it straight out. Middle of Newcastle's half. No goals yet, but Murphy with a big chance pushed over, and Anthony Gordon, after an incredible run, hit the post. Bellegarde for Wolves on the outside of Byrne. Bellegarde away from Hall, still going. Went for the shot near side, but it's over the top.
Well, it's the wrong decision to go for the shot. Should have dinked it back in. The angle was always against them. Good run though, wasn't it? Took on Bourne and Hall. Got goal side of him.
His confidence will be high, Jean-Rickner Bellegarde, after he scored the equaliser at Nottingham Forest before the break from range from outside the box. It was a good goal. Off target there. Gordon tripped by Lamina near to the halfway line. Referee wants a word with the Wolves captain.
No, he doesn't. Just going to see if Gordon's all right.
It was a bit late. The sort of kick that Gordon, as a dangerous wide player, will be used to getting. He's back up though, and Newcastle in maroon and blue are playing again and looking for the opening goal here on BBC Radio Newcastle. Gordon being held by Nelson Semedo. Gordon then got away from him, wanted the advantage. Referee having another word with Nelson Semedo. Sean Longstaff then goes and has a word with the referee, presumably asking why there's no yellow card. They're playing again. Joe Linton on the left touchline. The rain has stopped. Rained relentlessly on the journey down this morning. Livramento with a nice
turn.
turn.
Well played.
Taking 3 Wolves players out of it. Spun inside. Here's Longstaff for Murphy. 25 yards out. Murphy's ball straight to a Wolves player. And João Gomez uses it tidily. Back to Aït-Nouri. Andre. Space for Nelson Semedo. Now into the Newcastle half. Up the far touchline. Mosquera on the outside from centre back. The ball from Semedo, not the best, and Lewis Hall slides in and smacks it off Mosquera and behind.
Yeah, it was an awful ball, wasn't it?
Speaking of the weather, just have a look to your left, in the gap between the stand that we're in and the one behind Newcastle's goal. It's a little bit of sunshine.
A little bit of blue sky.
Yeah. Which you don't normally see when Newcastle are here. The spotlights on the tops of the 4 stands of Molineux are all on though. Still has an autumnal feel. Wolves have the ball in the Newcastle half with Lamina. His option is to go to the right to Semedo. Mateus Cunha, low cross behind off Dan Burn. Half an hour
good
gone.
defending, wasn't it? Got his body in line.
Wolves had a couple of moments. Nothing as clear-cut as Newcastle at the other end, but it remains goalless. Here's the corner, which everybody is back to defend. And most of them in the 6-yard box. Outswinger, right-footed. It's deep, very deep. Aït-Nouri takes a touch, then tries to stab it into the middle. Fabian Schär behind for a corner on the near side this time.
Yeah, good touch, wasn't it? It was a good touch. Good defending, Schär.
Aït-Nouri will deliver this Wolves corner kick. Referee watches on from the back of the box. Well, Aït-Nouri might be leaving it actually. Teammate has come across to join him. He's rolled it short instead to Mateus Cunha into the middle, over the top from Andre, one of the smallest players in the Wolves team. Mind you, I think it's been given as offside for the ball from the corner, which is something that Gary O'Neill, the Wolves manager, wants to debate with 4th official Simon Hooper. Nick Pope getting the signal from the referee to restart play, 0-0. And from just to the right side of the penalty area, near to the goal line, long ball up the pitch from Pope. Might get away from Isak. It's bent out for a throw. And Aït-Nouri, 5 yards, now 10 yards, as he keeps moving ahead of his own penalty area. Looking for an option here from the throw. They go towards Strand Larsen.
That's a free.
It's the most blatant push in the back that you'll see on Livramento. Newcastle get it going again quickly. Schär to Burn, on to Hall, shifts it, moves into the attacking half. Gordon comes in off the left touchline for Longstaff in the centre of the Wolves half. Back to Gordon, looking for Longstaff again. Gordon's had a bit of a pull at João Gomez, but he's got away. Wolves have possession and play continues. It's Lamina inside, along halfway to João Gomez. And Mosquera away from Gordon to Andre. Stabbed away by Dan Burn. They can break. Newcastle with Isak. Gordon to the left. Isak still got it. Jacob Murphy in the area wins a corner. Just couldn't get it quite right. Isak looked for Gordon. It was blocked. It came back to him. He couldn't quite control. Murphy then tried to get in, but Wolves scrambled it behind.
Yeah, Wolves give it away, trying to play forward. Dan Burn pinches it. It was all a little bit scrappy, wasn't it? Really, really tight. Just couldn't get it out of his feet, could he, Murphy?
Lewis Hall with the corner on this near Newcastle right hand side in the 34th minute. Hall flicked away by Dawson, who leapt at it. Only about 6 yards in front of his own goal. It was a good ball in, actually, but it was met by an attacking header, defensive header, rather than an attacking one. Throw taken by Joelinton to Cher, back up the line to Joelinton, on to Hall, and now back to Cher. A few paces into the Wolves half. Joelinton decides to come across to Byrne, who's at right centre-back, with Cher at left centre-back at the moment. Murphy into Bruno. Haven't seen a lot of Bruno today. His ball back to Pope. Lewis Hall controls with his head inside to Bruno on halfway. Carries it forwards 10 yards, gives it to Gordon. Can he take on Semedo? Defender gets a tackle
battle,
in.
that, isn't it?
Newcastle have a throw taken quickly. Joelinton on his chest, back to Gordon. Isak, edge of the area. Gordon for Longstaff, bit of space. Went for the first time, ball on to Isak. Longstaff, but it's cut out. And Wolves looking for Strand Larsen away from Dan Byrne on the far side. Byrne recovers. Larsen into the middle. It's run across to Lamina. And Mario Lamina scores the opening goal. Newcastle have been the better team, but Wolves with a break. And it's finished off by a tap-in from their captain Lamina. 36 minutes played. Wolverhampton Wanderers 1, Newcastle United 0.
It's a great dummy, isn't it? He's not going to miss from there, but 5 yards out. Good break, to be fair to Wolves. Ball down the line. Big centre forward, just out muscles and out paces Dan Byrne. Ball gets played across, and it's a great dummy at the near post.
Player runs over the ball at João Gomez, and it takes out a couple of defenders. Obviously they're not expecting it. Bruno with him, and then Cher in the middle. Just can't react. And Lamina, 6 yards out, strokes it home. And we praised them for the way they played, Ando, and how it was better than what we'd seen. They had a couple of big chances. Gordon very unlucky, but they didn't take them, and now they're behind.
Yeah, you would say they've been the better side. They've had more of the ball. They've had the clear-cut chance. Murphy, and then obviously Gordon hitting the post. We haven't seen a great deal of Wolves going forward, to be fair. First time they've really got in there, haven't they? Got in behind us, and it's a good finish.
Joelinton in the Wolves half. Strong play initially, but then he was dispossessed.
Oh!
Now he's left one
There's a yellow card
on João Gomez. It's naughty, and it's a booking. Frustration, clearly, but you can't do that. And Anthony Gordon is talking to the referee, and it looked like he was asking why Joelinton gets the first yellow card when Nelson Semedo could have had it earlier. But no problem with the decision, because it's...
No, frustration. Dear, oh dear.
Wolves 1, Newcastle 0. Didn't really see it coming, based on how the game went, but plenty of time to go. 38 minutes on the clock now. Cher and Strand Larsen compete for the ball. It's gone out off Livramento, and a throw for the hosts. 15 yards out, back towards halfway. Andre to Dawson. Scara, the centre-back, the right of the two, plays it wide to Semedo, back to the goalkeeper, into the middle to João Gomez. Mosquera again in the penalty box. Newcastle putting pressure on, but Wolves away now up towards halfway from Johnston.
Good header.
Lewis Hall leapt well, won the header. Longstaff battling for it in midfield, but it's a foul on Andre. Wolves get the free kick.
It's all gone very sloppy, hasn't it?
Home fans making the noise now. Listen to BBC Radio Newcastle. Mario Lemina's goal has given Wolves the lead. Foul by Strand Larsen. He's all over Cher, edge of the area, or nearabouts. And Fabian Cher just down on the floor getting some treatment. But he's alright. I say getting treatment, just
rubbing his head.
Yeah, from himself, just making sure he's alright. So doesn't need medical attention from the bench. Pope to Byrne. And they come towards halfway. Longstaff to Cher. And he plays it first time to the goalkeeper. Pope takes a touch. They go to the left to Byrne, but still in the penalty area. That's a good ball. Murphy in a gap, left side, and good pace by Murphy, driving forwards on the left wing. Jacob Murphy wide to Anthony Gordon. They've got three in the middle. Gordon goes on the outside away from Semedo. Still Gordon. Two on him, and it takes two to stop him. Promising position. Didn't really have the opportunity or the space to shoot or cross. And Wolves now trying to get forwards in numbers, but there's plenty of Newcastle shirts back. Aït-Nouri on the left wing, on the outside of Longstaff. Bellegarde with him. Oh, he's beaten Longstaff again. Aït-Nouri into the area. Pope punches it away. It seemed to be a cross, but it was fired towards the centre of the goal, and Nick Pope beat the ball away, and it's now on the halfway line. It was a dodgy moment for Newcastle. 42 played, they are 1-0 down, and Wolves enjoying themselves at the moment. Bellegarde to Aït-Nouri. They're back in their own half with Dawson. Murphy putting the pressure on. Dawson carries it 15 yards, and João Gomez on the left wing to Dawson. Again, inside to Andre. And Mosquera back to the goalkeeper. Newcastle push up to halfway. Wolves go long, looking for Strand Larsen. Livramento wins the header, but it goes out.
It's gone sloppy since the goal, hasn't it?
Dawson, diagonal ball, cut out by Lewis Hall with a header. Gordon trying to get there. It's Lamina who has it. Joe Linton arrived late on the scene, but the ball had gone, and it's with Mosquera. Plays it in between Murphy and Isak, back to Aït-Nouri, and they start again with a goalkeeper, which they're not afraid to do. And Johnston, left-footed ball up to halfway. Cher stabs it forwards. Murphy's onto it, looking for Bruno. But Andre's spun away from Bruno and played it up to Lamina. The furthest Wolves player forward, Mario Lamina, edge of the area, cut out by Byrne. Oh, it's come back to Lamina.
What a chance!
Goodness me! And Lamina with an absolutely terrible attempt that's gone a long way wide. I'm just not sure he expected it, but Byrne's cut out of the ball straight back to Lamina, and if he'd just shown more composure, that would have been 2-0 to Wolves.
Yeah, it's just like swinger, isn't it? He hasn't got a left foot, thankfully.
That's a big chance. Gordon fouled by Andre. Free kick quickly taken across halfway. Lewis Hall, Joe Linton goes up the line. Wolves blocking off the space as Newcastle with 90 seconds until we get the numbers board. 1-0 down, play it to Livramento. 30 yards out, back it goes to Fabian Schär. Foot on the ball, Byrne behind the centre spot. Hall brings it infield, carries it and plays a good ball. That's well done, Lewis Hall, to Murphy. Aït-Nouri in front of him. Murphy comes inside. Isak's available. Aït-Nouri challenges. Bruno's got it though. To Hall, and Joe Linton could have it. It's instead Gordon, 5 yards outside the area. Helped on to Joe Linton. They don't put the cross in. Back to Bruno. Livramento lets it run, and it comes over to Murphy. 30 yards out, forwards for Livramento. Back to Murphy. Longstaff edge of the area, lay off to Livramento, and then back to Byrne in the centre circle, keeping possession. They've gone backwards with it there. Now they come forwards. Hall to Gordon. Semedo ahead of him. Gordon delivers the cross. Mosquera away. And Mateus Cunha inside. João Gomez to Jean-Rickner Bellegarde, and here go Wolves. Bellegarde away with his pink boots, carrying the ball into the final third inside to João Gomez, and they slow it down and they survive that period of Newcastle pressure, and there'll be a minimum of a minute added to the first half with Newcastle trailing 1-0 despite having overall been the better team and having had two very good chances themselves. Wolves back to the goalkeeper. It's BBC Radio Newcastle. If you want to send some messages on WhatsApp, 08000 321 333, put BBC at the start and we'll try and go through some during the break. It's a foul on Bruno.
Oh, I'm not sure about that, by the way.
Chris Kavanagh blows the whistle. Joe Linton to Isak, taken off his toes and then cleared by Dawson, and Isak's been caught, possibly accidentally, by Dawson, maybe just a hand in the face on the follow through after he played the ball. So they've stopped the match.
The ball hit him
the
in
ball,
the face.
but then Dawson's hand went up, but it wasn't. It was the ball
clipped him in the face. Yeah.
Chris Kavanagh says Newcastle's medical team need to come on, so they go sprinting across to Alexander Isak. I think there's a little bit of blood coming from his nose. So there needs to be some treatment. Sandro Tonali sitting on the bench as Miguel Almiron does some stretches on the touchline. Tonali having a chat with Harvey Barnes. We will almost certainly see those two because they need to find a way back into the game. 1-0 down, heading into half-time here on BBC Radio Newcastle. And some treatment for Isak. Eddie Howe making some notes. Jason Tyndall having a look at what Howe is scribbling down. I wonder if he could change it at half-time.
May well do.
Isak's up.
And ball's obviously hit him in the nose. There's a little bit of blood there. Hopefully it's not too serious.
Makes his way over to the near touchline.
Looks like he's okay, doesn't he?
Two members of staff with him. The ball was with Newcastle, so the referee drops it at the feet of Dan Byrne and Bruno and then blows the half-time whistle. That's it. Newcastle trailing at the break. Mario Lemina with the Wolves goal, a tap-in from 6 yards after a quick break up the right-hand side, and then the low cross was dummied by João Gomez. It fooled Newcastle defenders and Lemina rolled it in. Wolves probably don't deserve to be ahead. Newcastle's best chance is Murphy over the top when he was played through just outside the area, and then Gordon, a wonderful run, brilliant skill, and a curling right-footed shot across the keeper clipped the post. So they probably ought to have been ahead, but they are trailing after 45 minutes.
So it's all about taking chances, isn't it? You know, the Murphy one's a big chance. The Gordon one was created all by himself. It was absolutely brilliant, and he was unlucky that it smacked across the post. Haven't seen a great deal of Wolves going forward, but it was a good goal they got. You know, the best move of the game by them. Ball down the line, ball played in, good dummy near post, and Lemina's 2-3 yards out. He's not going to miss it from there. But I thought we started brightly. I thought we'd be better on the ball. I think halfway through the half it started to get a little bit messy and a little bit sloppy again, but work to be done, that's for sure.
Wolves will be lifted by the goal, but do Newcastle, even if they make changes now or later, do they need to change their approach too much? Because it seemed to be, without a goal, granted, but what they seemed to be doing was better.
Yeah, I don't think they need to change a great deal. I think all they've got to do is, when the chances come along this time, put them in the back of the net. That's what we didn't do in that opening half. You know, two real good chances. Although to be fair to Gordon, it was difficult. You know, it was a difficult one because he's coming in and he's done everything right. You know, and he's very, very unfortunate that it's the post. The Murphy one's a big chance. You know, I thought he could have gone either side of the keeper, because the keeper's a long way out. You know, and whether he intentionally goes to dink him or not, I'm not sure, but the keeper gets something on it. It goes over the top of the crossbar. But as I say, work to be done in the second half.
Harvey Barnes and Sandro Tonali are on the pitch together, the only Newcastle players there. Joe Willock's now gone to join them. They've each got a ball. Maybe we will see them soon. We'll be back live at Molineux on BBC Radio Newcastle in about 10 minutes ahead of the second half. There is work to be done for Newcastle. At half-time, Wolves lead by a 1-0.
Matt Bailey at breakfast.
Some scientists have found out that pigs can breathe through their backsides. So I want your amazing facts, Robbie and Dunstan.
My go-to fact is that Edinburgh is further west than Carlisle.
What? I can't believe that. David in Newcastle.
The electric car was made before the petrol one.
Why are they so rubbish now then? Dan the teacher, what's yours?
Apparently, and I haven't checked this, you lay all of the veins in your body end to end. They would actually stretch to the moon and back.
I do like the way Dan had to clarify he hasn't actually tried it.
Matt Bailey at breakfast. Back Monday morning
from 6.
BBC Radio Newcastle.
Wolves won, Newcastle United 0 at half-time then. Mario Lemina 9 minutes before the break, as Matthew Racebeck has just told you. We will be back there in just under 10 minutes' time for full commentary of the second half. This is the second of 2 Premier League games today as well. The first one was the North London derby, and Arsenal won that one away at Spurs by a 0-0, a header from Gabriel after 65 minutes, the only goal of that game, and so Arsenal win by a 0-0. There was one game earlier today in the Championship as well, and West Brom have gone top of the table, replacing Sunderland. We'll talk about Sunderland later on, but West Brom won 3-0 at Portsmouth. Josh Madja, formerly of Sunderland, in the first minute, and then the other 2 in the second half came from Alex Mowat. Those are the only 2 real games of note today. In the Premier League yesterday, Everton surrendered a 2-0 lead for the second game in a row, this time away at Aston Villa to lose 3-2. A brilliant strike from the striker John Duran secured the 3 points against Sean Dyche's side, who remain bottom of the table because they've lost all 4 of their opening games.
We seem to be in that run at the moment. You know, every chance is capitalised on by the opposition, and every chance for us we're not quite taking. And even when they go through, I mean, at the end of the day, they score a worldie, which is obviously when the luck's going against you when they score a worldie.
So Everton were beaten, so too were Liverpool. They lost 1-0 against Nottingham Forest at Anfield, so the Forest manager, Nuno Espirito Santo, was a happy man.
We are very, very happy. We are proud the way we did things. There's no other way to play in Anfield. We have to overrun them. It's all about that. And the players did well. Especially happy for the fans. Regarding so long they don't celebrate in Liverpool. Enjoy it. It's a really nice moment for us.
Champions Manchester City are 2 points clear at the top of the table after a 2-1 win over Brentford, but they had to come from behind again. Brentford took the lead through Johan Wissa after 22 seconds yesterday, but the City manager Pep Guardiola says it was a hard-fought win over a very good Thomas Frank team.
I'm a big fan from Thomas in Brentford, so I don't remember one game in the last 2-3 years when they were promoted for the Premier League again. I was not quite similar of that. It's an extraordinary team. I don't remember last 8 or 9 years since we are here, and a team like play the first 20-30 minutes and the way they play.
Chelsea won 1-0 away at Bournemouth last night. Christopher Nkunku scored the only goal of the game in the 86th minute. It was a game that had a Premier League record 14 yellow cards in it. Manchester United won the lunchtime game yesterday. They won 3-0 away at Southampton, who had Jack Stevens sent off in the second half. And there were 3 draws in the Premier League yesterday as well. Brighton against Ipswich was goalless. Fulham and West Ham drew 1-1 after Danny Ings scored in the 95th minute for West Ham. And Crystal Palace came back from 2-0 down to draw 2-2 with Leicester. Jean-Philippe Mateta scoring the equaliser from the penalty spot in the 92nd minute. Sunderland's unbeaten start to the Championship season is over, though. They lost 3-2 at Plymouth Argyle yesterday. That's the first win of the season for Wayne Rooney's team. Joe Edwards scored the winner in the 93rd minute. The Sunderland goal scorers were Patrick Roberts and Romain Mundle. They were 1-0 up and then 2-1 down before they equalised to make it 2-2, did Sunderland. But that West Brom win over Portsmouth that I've just mentioned has knocked Sunderland off the top of the Championship table as well. Here is their head coach, Régis Lebris, speaking to our Sunderland commentator, Nick Barnes.
Régis, I suspect you'll be looking back at that and there'll be a lot of things to digest, to learn from the game overall.
Yes, we scored twice, so away it's never easy to score, and we did it. But even if during the first half we thought that we controlled the game, there was something in behind that we feel that we were not in our best shape today. And we conceded this 2-1, and we had the strength to come back, so we can say that it was a good part of the end of the game. But at the end, we conceded this third goal. So for us, we are disappointed, but not too much, because we know that it's a process, and it's still a young team. It's still a team who need to learn, and today it was a new experience. We didn't solve the problems, of course, because for example, the wingers today were able to threat our defense all the time, and we were in difficulty as well to solve the second balls, and we conceded many counterattacks. So it was anticipated, but on the pitch it's different, and we didn't able to do this today.
When you talk about the sort of youthfulness of the team, one area is at the point where you brought Alan Brown on, you're clearly trying to bring a bit of experience in there and to try and find a bit of composure, and that seems to be the area that's when a lack of experience exposes the team.
I think we need to live many experiences to learn, and you can be very young or old, and it's the same idea. So this team has the potential to learn very quickly, I'm sure. And it's not because we lose today or lost today, it's just a question of process, and we'll have many games to travel during this league. It's like a long journey, so today we lost for sure, but we will learn very quickly, I'm sure.
It was indeed a long journey, and it ended in defeat for Sunderland at Plymouth yesterday. So not a great afternoon for them, and an awful afternoon for Gateshead. Their first defeat of the season was a 7-1 hammering at Dagenham and Redbridge in the National League. Here's how their manager Rob Elliott described it afterwards.
You know, it's a humbling experience for us. We have to take it on the chin, and we have to really look at it and see that for all the good football that we play, there is a downside, and if we don't do the defensive stuff, or if we don't play well enough, we don't get the lock-up right, we don't do the little things that, the little professional things, in terms of the swing around, the marking, getting contact from corners, etc., you can be punished, and you get punished in the most brutal way, and there's not much else to say other than we have to accept that, and we have to look at it, and we have to go again. I'm not going to criticise the lads too much. Ultimately, we had to be better tonight, and we had to be better in the big moments, and it was big moments when the goals come. We're never going to come away from the way we play, but doing the other side of the game is something we need to improve on.
Indeed, yeah. Rob Elliott speaking to the club's YouTube channel there. We had 6 teams in the second qualifying round of the FA Cup. Just one of them is in the draw for the third qualifying round, and even then there's a caveat there. Dunstan, with the result of the round as far as we were concerned, a 1-1 draw at home to Scarborough, aside 2 divisions above them. Scott Robson with their goal, and they had chances to win it as well, did Dunstan. So there's a replay on Tuesday night, but they are in the hat for the draw for the third qualifying round that'll take place tomorrow. Blyth Spartans are not. They were beaten 3-0 at home by Birmingham. Bury, who are 2 divisions below them, and their mini revival was brought to a rather abrupt halt. Blythe Spartans. Newcastle Benfield also lost at home 1-0 to Wythenshawe. They had Kieran Galbraith sent off after less than half an hour, which didn't help. Hebburn lost 3-0 away at Chester. Chester are from the division above. The same goes for Morpeth away at Spennymoor. That was 3-1 to Spennymoor. Luke James with a consolation for Morpeth in the end. And South Shield, who were away at Macclesfield, who have plenty of money but do still play in the division below, and South Shield's lost by 5-0. So none of those teams going through to the third qualifying round. We will see how Dunstan get on Tuesday night at Scarborough. In the NPL East Division yesterday as well, 3 games for us to keep an eye on, and no wins there either. Ashington were 2-0 up with 6 minutes to go in their game at home to Grimsby Borough, but conceded twice to end up with just a 2-2 draw. Consett drew 1-0 at Pontefract Colliery's Isaac Walker with their goal towards the end. And Heaton Stannington were on course for a point at Stocksbridge Park Steels until the 93rd minute as well, and they lost by 2-1. Connor Lamb scored their goal, so it was not a good afternoon all round. It was 1 good, 1 bad, and 1 didn't play in the Women's Championship this weekend. The good was yesterday with Durham's 3-0 win away at Portsmouth. Hannah Blake and Lily Crossthwaite in the first half. Beth Heppel at the very, very end of the second half, in the 10th minute of injury time, she scored straight from a corner. So that was Durham, who now have 2 wins from 2. But today was the bad, because Sunderland suffered a second straight defeat without scoring a goal as well. Southampton scored 3 times in the last 20 minutes to win 3-0. No match for Newcastle United this weekend because there's an odd number of teams in that Women's Championship. In the other 2 games today, London City Lionesses won 2-1 away at Blackburn. Bristol City and Birmingham City drew 0-0, and yesterday Charlton won 1-0 at Sheffield United. In the darts, Chris Dobie of Bedlington had won his first round match on Friday night. He won his second round match yesterday against Croatia's Boric Kuričmar, but today in his quarter-final he was beaten by 10 legs to 7 by Luke Littler. In the ice hockey in the Northern League Division 1, Whitley Warriors at home to Nottingham Lions. They faced off at 5 o'clock, so they are getting towards the end of the first period. In fact, they are at the end of the first period, but Whitley Warriors are leading by 1-0. In Formula 1, McLaren's Oscar Piastri won the Azerbaijan Grand Prix in Baku earlier today. Charles Leclerc was second for Ferrari. George Russell was third for Mercedes. He profited from a late crash between Carlos Sainz and Sergio Perez. So it was a good day all round for Piastri and McLaren, who now lead the Constructors' Championship by 20 points.
Considering where we started when I joined the team last year, we were literally last, and now we are leading the World Championship. So it's a full credit to the team for the turnaround we've managed to have in my 18 months here. Firstly in terms of improving the car, but helping me improve as well. Results like this definitely weren't possible 12 months ago for myself. So it's a massive team effort, and excited to see what the future holds.
At golf's Solheim Cup in Virginia, the singles match is well underway. The USA started the day leading 10-6. They now lead 11-7. They need 14.5 points to win the thing, but they are up in so many matches as well that it's looking a little bit ominous for Europe. But credit to Charlie Hall, who absolutely thrashed the world number 1 Nelly Korda in the top singles match today, winning it 6-4 in the end. And in tennis, Great Britain have failed to qualify for the quarterfinals of the Davis Cup. They needed to win all 3 matches against Canada today in Manchester, but they lost the opening one. Newcastle United are losing at half-time. They're 1-0 down to Wolves at Molineux. Let's see how the second half goes in the company of Matthew Raisbeck and John Anderson.
Half-time highlights.
Total Sport Northeast.
BBC Radio Newcastle.
And Wolves looking for Strand Larson away from Dan Byrne on the far side. Byrne recovers. Larson into the middle. It's run across to Lamina. And Mario Lamina scores the opening goal. Newcastle have been the better team, but Wolves with a break, and it's finished off by a tap-in from their captain Lamina. 36 minutes played. Wolverhampton Wanderers 1, Newcastle United 0.
Total Sport Northeast.
Matthew Raisbeck and black and white legend John Anderson.
BBC Radio Newcastle.
Newcastle United are going to make a triple change at half-time. Sandro Tonali, Harvey Barnes and Joe Willock are all coming on, and we're going to find out who is not returning. And there's no Alexander Isak at the moment, but we can tell you Tonali is on for Sean Longstaff. That's the first change, and Isak is replaced here at half-time by Barnes. That's Newcastle's second substitution,
And Joe Willock's going to come on for Joelinton, who is also taken off, yellow carded. Joelinton, some good, some not so good in the first half from him, but triple change. Eddie Howe determined to get back into this as quickly as possible with some tweaks to Newcastle's approach. John Anderson, 1-0 down as they are.
Yeah, he obviously looked at it and thought, I need to change things, I need to do something to change it. And he hasn't left it till 60 minutes. He thought half time's the time to do it, so 3 boys are on. We'll see what difference it makes.
Dan Burn straight out of play on the far side. Wolves throw. Newcastle kicking towards the goal at the left hand side in the away kit, maroon and blue hoops, blue shorts and maroon socks. Wolves in gold and black. It's with their goalkeeper Johnston. Oh, and Gordon's charged down the clearance. It just wouldn't come for Barnes on the near side. Wolves getting lucky there. They do take chances. Nelson Semedo trying to run Lewis Hall. They get it back, Newcastle, to the goalkeeper with a bit of help from Dan Burn. And Bruno on for Barnes. A full look at the lineups when we get an appropriate break in play. Newcastle attacking. Barnes to Hall. Can they make an immediate impact, the subs, at the start of the second half? It's Joe Willock, back from a thigh injury. Bruno's going to hit it from the edge of the area. And a diving save from Sam Johnston to push the ball away and out on the far side.
Yeah, good hit, wasn't it? Got it out of his feet nice and early. He's got to whip it. A lot of bend on it. Good save. Pushed it away. Corner kick taken.
Taken quickly. Gordon in the area. Low ball into the centre. Wolves just about get it away as far as Fabian Schär. Oh, just over Schär, who took a touch, and the shot was just over the top. Now Newcastle are appealing to the referee for something, potentially a handball, maybe against Craig Dawson. Craig Pawson said wait. Let's see if there's anything in this. It's hit his arm, it's behind him and out.
He doesn't know anything about that. You can't give a penalty for that.
Yeah, but that's the rule. It has been stopped by his hand. It's certainly not deliberate based on the replay we've seen, John Anderson. His arm's out for balance behind him, and yeah, it hit the arm.
Yeah,
but every time the ball hits an arm, especially in the box from a defending player, it's not always going to be given as handball. They have started the second half well, and there's a great ball from Joe Willock on for Harvey Barnes, inviting Barnes to join the attack into the penalty area. Barnes cross flicked away. Murphy keeps it going on the far side. Livramento, he's run into Bellegarde. Wolves have it. It's in the corner. Now a clearance up to midfield. Mateus Cunha trying to find a teammate. Bruno Guimaraes in possession. Lewis Hall, better from Newcastle. Hall for Barnes, taking on his man Semedo. Willock, who's looking vibrant since coming on. Gordon shot on the turn, blocked in the box, and Wolves have the chance to bring it away. Player down in the box after making the block.
I'm pleased he stopped that. They had a break on.
Dawson it is, and so the counter-attack has been stopped. And Wolves will check on Dawson. He blocked Gordon's shot with his head. It hit him full on. And it was a powerful effort from Gordon and Craig Dawson. Referee made some checks and he's okay. Wolves had the ball, so they will be the ones that restart the match. The home team lead 1-0. Newcastle with the triple change at half-time, and here's how they look. Pope in goal, Livramento, Schär, Burn and Hall at the back. Midfield three of, as the ball goes back to Johnston, and it's charged down by Gordon again and behind for a goal kick. That is the third or fourth time.
He hasn't learned, has he, the goalkeeper?
Waited and waited. He's got away with it every time, but Newcastle getting closer to punishing him for that.
Yeah, just hasn't learned. Keeps doing the same thing.
His teammate,
unbelievable.
Dawson, the defender.
Here we go again.
The goal kick, gives it to Johnston, and he swings it up to halfway. Byrne beaten in the air by Lamina, which you might not have expected, but a well-timed jump from the goal scorer. So Newcastle in midfield, Tonali, Bruno, Willock. Front three is Murphy on the right, Barnes on the left, Gordon in the centre, and it's back to Johnston. And a reminder, Isak, Longstaff and Joelinton taken off at half-time. Wolves here in the 51st minute, their first proper attack of the second half. Nelson Semedo on the near side. Barnes there in front of him, Willock 2. It's 1-0 through Lamina's goal. Mosquera towards João Gomez. Bruno and Tonali and Gordon were all involved in winning it back, but they couldn't keep it. Newcastle given away to Hall, and here's Joe Willock on the turn and on the move. It's what he does so well, but Andre's come in with a challenge. And now Mateus Cunha combining with Nelson Semedo on the near side. Strand Larsen goes down in the centre. Then Dan Byrne wants a free kick for the challenge on him by Cunha. Byrne getting involved with the assistant referee and is going to get a yellow card. Did he have a case? Was he fouled?
Shoulder to shoulder, wasn't it?
He's having a go at the referee, Byrne. And he's pretty angry about that.
Just leant in on him, didn't he?
Fabian Schär in the middle collided with Jürgen Strand Larsen, but it was off the ball. The play was down the right side, just run across each other. Schär may have helped him down. Wolves throw anyway. Lamina back to Semedo. BBC Radio Newcastle United a goal down. And a triple change at the start of the second half. Isak did have a facial injury, and that may have been the factor in his removal from the game in that change. 52 on the clock. Semedo receives a crossfield ball. Here's Lamina, turns at the edge of the area, threads it through, and the shot off the post. Jürgen Strand Larsen close to doubling the Wolves' lead. Lewis Hall for Newcastle as they tried to play their way up the pitch. Kept in by Mosquera.
Good effort, wasn't it?
Low shot near side of Pope's goal. Lamina with good play to set him up. It's a throw for Wolves next to the corner flag on the near side. Lamina just in between the lines, dropped in, received it, turned, played it, and that was close.
Yeah, it just smacks the post full on, doesn't it?
Semedo with the throw. Willock gets in, tries to pinch the ball, he's been fouled. Home fans don't like it, but Newcastle have a throw. Trippier and Almiron warming up at the other end of the pitch. Trippier goes back into the changing room. Nick Pope going to take the free kick from the wrong place. Home supporters complaining. And his kick is kept in by a header from Harvey Barnes. Andre for Wolves. Over to the far side to Aït-Nouri. Free kick for Livramento's challenge on Bellegarde. Caught him back of the leg as he attempted to turn away. And free kick's about to be taken. It's close to the centre circle, left side. Trailing 1-0 Newcastle. A couple of moments early in the second half. Here's the goalkeeper on it for Wolves outside the box. Johnston not under any pressure. Long ball on the diagonal. Larsen with the header. And Bellegarde on the outside of Livramento, close to the touchline. A couple of step overs, rolls the ball back to Aït-Nouri. Andre deep in central midfield, floats it from one side of the pitch to the other. Nelson Semedo forced backwards to halfway. Mosquera has the ball. Barnes chases the pass to the goalkeeper. Johnston's kick in towards Larsson. Schär at his back. Referee says no foul, but then a foul on Tonali, pulled down by Bellegarde.
Interesting one, that. Didn't seem to be a similar situation, didn't it?
They've taken the free kick quickly, Newcastle. Barnes, Hall on the outside. Barnes into the area, to the back post, and cleared. And Lemina on the charge. Lemina, bright red boots, bleach blonde hair, has done really well for Wolves. Good player, Mario Lemina. Scored against Newcastle here last season. Got the only goal today. Got his team away from danger and up the pitch. They've now gone back to the edge of their own box. And Johnston looking long again. Schär and Livramento are there. Schär wins the header. Murphy helps it on away from Aït-Nouri, but in midfield Wolves collect it. João Gomez crosses the halfway line, short to Lemina, inside to Andre. Mateus Cunha, the forward, wearing number 10 on halfway, plays it back to centre half Mosquera. João Gomez has got loads of space. They've bamboozled Newcastle a bit there with their passing. Nelson Semedo on the near side. And back to Dawson. It's all Wolves, isn't it, John Anderson, with possession at the moment?
Yeah. Not going anywhere with it, though.
Dawson coming out to this near side, up the line. Mateus Cunha away from Lewis Hall. Oh, he's giving him the slip. He's got Semedo free. Plays in Nelson Semedo, two in the middle. Hangs it up towards Larsson and Fabian Schär. Good defending. Corner.
Hall's got to defend that better. Can't get rolled there in that area. Once he gets rolled, you're in big trouble. Schär forced to give the corner kick away.
Watched it all the way. Schär had the big centre forward on his shoulder. Wolves fans behind the goal making all the noise. Mateus Cunha. Right-footed corner, out swinger towards the penalty spot, headed over, and it's a goal kick. There were some hopeful appeals from supporters for a corner. Goal kick the decision. Graham Jones has joined Eddie Howe in the technical area now, as he tends to do in the second half of matches. Jason Tyndall up off the bench as well, talking to the players as Dan Burn rolls it to Lewis Hall, having a look up the line, finding Harvey Barnes. Barnes comes back with a pass to Hall. Nothing risky. Burn in the area. Right-footed from Burn across the width of the 18-yard box. 1-0 down Newcastle. Here at Molineux on BBC Radio Newcastle. Schär, good switch to Willock in space, left centre midfield, and Barnes on the wing. Harvey Barnes towards the penalty box, wide to Willock again, hangs up the cross to the back post, and Aït-Nouri heads it behind. He had Murphy nearby. Don't think he was entirely sure of Murphy's positioning.
No.
So
I don't think he was too sure of his own position. Wasn't taking any chances though, was he?
Can they make this corner kick count as Burn and Schär go forwards? Lewis Hall jogs across to the right side to take it, left by Murphy. Livramento holding back a bit. Murphy outside the box as well. Wolves have got everybody defending. Lewis Hall whips it in to Wolves' header. Burn back into the centre. Barnes brings it down, looks for a teammate, and it's stabbed towards goal. Might have been Tonali with the final touch. Caught by Johnston.
Yeah, easy take, wasn't it? It was just prodded straight into the midriff of the keeper.
Nelson Semedo just inside Newcastle's half, forced back by Lewis Hall. Lamina to Mosquera, Gordon chasing to do a lot of that. Gordon shuttle runs as the ball goes back to the keeper and between defenders. Now Bruno, who's had a quiet game, closing down. Wolves play it over to the far touchline. Aït-Nouri, Bellegarde comes in to the centre. Mosquera to Semedo. Hall slips. Semedo didn't get away, he'd come infield. And then Hall's back up and in position. Newcastle defensive line about in the middle of their half, but dropping deeper as Wolves play it up the left wing to Aït-Nouri. Cher is out there with him. Larson in the box. They've got a few others on the edge of the area. Aït-Nouri decides not to put the cross in. João Gomez and Andre in midfield. Dawson to Mosquera. 1-0 down Newcastle after an hour. Lamina curls the cross in. Great ball. Pope, big save. Larson's header from the centre of the box, and the keeper was off his line, but he got down low to shovel it away, and Newcastle have possession on the right hand side. Tonali back to Cher in the box, and given again to Tonali. Wolves have won it back. Sliding tackle from Bellegarde on Tonali. Mateus Cunha, good skill, and he goes for the curler but misses the target.
Yeah, he got in behind Dan Bourne, didn't he? Dan Bourne had no idea where he was. Lamina has been excellent today. Good save.
I think it's pretty good play all round from the Wolves' point of view. The header was too central, too close to Pope. Big save from the Newcastle keeper. Jørgen Strand Larsen, the Norwegian, scored in the home defeat by Chelsea, has hit the post and had a header saved. Newcastle still 1-0 down, could have been worse. Bruno, 10 yards from the penalty area. Hall's got it now in a wide position, through for Willock. Gives it back to Hall, who has a touch. Barnes on the corner of the area with it, and he finds Bruno. They come back wide to Hall. It's all a bit tight, there's not a lot of space. Willock is available, but he felt that he was offside, so he didn't move for the ball. It's actually stayed in play, and Johnston, the keeper's had to clear it. Burn on his chest. Oh, dodgy second touch, but Hall helps him out, passes it back to Cher. Newcastle might be able to go forwards here. Down the right hand side, most of their play in this second half's been up the left. Murphy for Tonali. That's a foul on Tonali in the corner, and the assistant flags. The referee blows the whistle. They've been given a free kick.
Yellow card as well by the looks of it.
Kieran Trippier's coming on. Newcastle's next change. 63 minutes played, and they want to make that change immediately, possibly even before the free kick. Trippier in the technical area with Eddie Howe, an arm round the shoulder. They've given the numbers board to the fourth official, and they're going to take off Tino Livramento. It's a straight swap.
Substitution for Newcastle, replacing number 21 Tino Livramento.
Free kick is like a corner, really, isn't it, given its location?
It's a yard in from the touchline on that far side, a couple of yards from the byline. Trippier's gone across to take the free kick by the looks of it.
His first involvement in the play, Kieran Trippier, is to deliver this attacking free kick on 64 minutes. His team needing an equaliser. Lamina and Byrne have got a hold of each other in the box. They're having a smile about it. The referee's gone to tell them to separate. Bruno's now in the middle of them. Whistle goes. Trippier free kick into the centre, headed away by Mateus Cunha as far as Jacob Murphy. He stands up the cross. Byrne with a looping header onto the roof of the net.
Yeah, there was no pace on the cross, was there? It was just a looped cross. Dink little cross. He's trying to generate all his own power. Just loops it up in the air, lands on the top of the net.
It's BBC Radio Newcastle. We're going to be with you till 7 tonight. There'll be a bit of time to analyse the match with John Anderson after the game. If you want to send a message about it on Twitter or X, it's at BBC Newcastle, or on WhatsApp, put BBC at the start of your message, and here's the number you need: 08000 321 333. Wolves lead 1-0. Dan Burn plants a big header on the ball, and it's might be a useful one for Jacob Murphy's. Just about kept it in, and if it goes, it could be a corner. No, it's not. Okay. Murphy was adamant that was going to be a corner, but it's a Wolves ball, as we see pictures of Newcastle CEO Darren Eales sitting next to new sporting director Paul Mitchell and head of performance James Bunce, all in suits with black and white pinstripe ties and fairly glum expressions. The team a goal down, and at this point in the match, Ando, heading towards midway through the second half, you'd reflect on a good start, a good 35 minutes. They should have been ahead. They were playing probably better than they have done in the Premier League this season. Wolves scored on the break, and it just hasn't quite happened since. And if anything, Wolves have looked more likely to score the next goal than Newcastle.
Wolves have grown into it, haven't they? There's no doubt about it. In fact, Wolves have done to us what we've done to sides. They've sat back, let us have the ball, and they've tried to break on us.
Tonali finding the feet of Gordon, who's now at centre forward after the half-time triple change, with Isak going off. Good ball by Tonali to Murphy, likewise to Willock. Barnes free to the left, inside the area. Harvey Barnes on his right, goes on the outside, still Harvey Barnes, blocked by Mosquera at the near post. It won't go for a corner. Mateus Cunha has conceded a throw. No, it has gone for a corner eventually. That was good play by Newcastle, and Barnes was almost in.
Yeah, it was a good break, wasn't it? Moved the ball well. Barnes got in behind, good block.
There's one touch after he beat the defender that was just a bit too heavy and gave Mosquera a sniff, and he got down and made the block. Trippier with the corner, deep to the back of the box. Byrne tries to head it down. Johnston comes out and gathers. Could be a change for Wolves. Hwang Hee-chan, South Korean international, who often scores against Newcastle, is getting ready to come on. 1-0 at Molineux. It's a ball into space from Wolves, from the goalkeeper, and Mateus Cunha's got away. Mateus Cunha into the area. Mateus Cunha saved by
hit the post
at the near post, or did it hit the post? Newcastle trying to break and go up the other end, but Yerson Mosquera with a great challenge. Joe Willock now with a quick throw towards Harvey Barnes. It's a foul throw.
Oh no!
Well,
we're in as well.
Mateus Cunha, I don't know if it was Pope's hand in front of the post, but you may be right. He delayed the shot, they got bodies back.
Oh, it's his hand.
It was Pope right in front of the post. Got a glove, fingertips, palmed it down.
And somebody's been booked. Has Tyndall been booked?
It's all going off. Then Newcastle tried to get away through Barnes. Mosquera, great challenge. They had a throw, and then looked like a foul throw. Someone's been yellow carded.
I think it's Tyndall who's been.
It's a Wolves throw. Newcastle thought it was theirs. Gary O'Neill's been told off by the fourth official because he was going mad on the touchline about the foul throw, and then possibly Jason Tyndall's been yellow carded. A lot to unpack there. It's still 1-0 to Wolves. Most importantly and worryingly for Newcastle,
is a yellow card.
Nelson Semedo pushing the ball away, and he's going to get booked eventually. Got away with a few in the first half. And Hwang,
he's struggling, Semedo.
He's about to be introduced, and it will be for
Substitution for Wolves.
Jean-Rickner Bellegarde.
Number 27, Jean-Rickner Bellegarde.
Wang will presumably play on the left on the same side. Jason Tindall might have been, was he booked for picking the ball up off one of the discs around the pitch?
No idea.
I think only
not allowed to do
players
that.
are allowed to do that.
Oh, right.
But
can you book a ball boy for doing that?
The players have to get it themselves, don't they? But I mean, if the ball had run free and he just scooped it up and given it to a player, sort of thing, frowned upon now.
No idea. I didn't know.
You just wanted them to take a quick free kick, a quick throw. Anyway, they've got that free kick after Semedo was booked. He's back up, Semedo, and playing on. 20 minutes to go. What way do you see this match developing, John Anderson?
Well, he's made the changes. He's rolled the dice, that's for sure.
Here's Trippier, 20 yards out, far side. Murphy, surrounded by Wolves players. He's heading into the corner. Murphy battling away. Newcastle need to be careful here. Wolves get it clear up the line. It's a throw for United. Now Trippier picks the ball off one of those discs and takes a throw. It's given to Bruno. Back to Trippier again. Tonali finds a bit of space in the middle. Bruno still got it wide right. Carries on his run. Wins a corner. That's all right. Trippier to deliver. Ran towards the ball, then stopped, steps back, and now it comes in from Trippier. Flat corner, half cleared. Tonali couldn't get the shot away. It's with Murphy, back through for Trippier, but intercepted by Wang, and offside as well. They made a right mess of that from the second ball.
Well, Wolves got lucky because they made a mess of the clearance.
Disappointing. The corner from Trippier was flat, which they would have been looking for a better ball into the middle. Tonali, could he have hit it first time? He played the pass after a touch. And Trippier was saying to Murphy afterwards, just stick it in.
Yeah. With the quality that he's got, he can deliver.
Yeah. BBC Radio Newcastle, still 1-0 down. Throw. Newcastle have now from the ball up the pitch from Wolves. Mario Lemina on 36 minutes, scoring the Wolves goal. This is Joe Willock, takes it on the outside, tries to run, was taken out, Willock, and Andre will be yellow carded. No complaints.
Didn't need to foul him, because I don't think he was ever getting the ball. Joe Willock, it's a great little turn. He flicks it, but there was plenty of covering defenders.
They've taken the free kick. Willock near the corner of the area. Gordon drops it off to Barnes. Nobody in the centre. Now Gordon and Willock get in the middle, but Barnes plays it back to Hall. Tonali having a look. It's Bruno just outside the box, and a tackle comes in and the ball goes through to Johnston. And the Wolves goalkeeper waits for Gordon to come towards him and picks it up. An equaliser came late here 2 seasons ago, similar time in the season, the very end of August, when Alan Saint-Maximin scored a wonderful volley at the end of Molineux that Newcastle are attacking. It's getting towards the latter part of the game now, and they need something. Hall towards Gordon, edge of the box, but easy clearance for Dawson. Andre in the middle of midfield. He's got one change left, Eddie Howe, that he can make. Gordon chasing some back passes to the keeper. Now Barnes closing down Mosquera. Intercepted by Tonali in midfield. Now on to Jacob Murphy in the box. Murphy with the cross. It won't come for Bruno or Gordon. And Wolves get it away. They survive again. Newcastle with a quick throw on the far side. Tonali on the ball. Trippier inside to Cher. Bruno for Tonali, gets it back first time. Bruno to Willock, left of centre, just outside the box. Willock shifts it for Bruno. He moves it. Murphy could have it, but they can't find him. It's now Fabian Schär. He's had a try, deflected. Fabian Schär deflected and in. Back from suspension, and Schär gets Newcastle level. A goal they really needed. 75 minutes played. Wolverhampton Wanderers 1, Newcastle United 1.
Well, it's a good hit, isn't it? Even though it takes the deflection, we know he's capable of it as well. They just sat off and invited the hit. I think it's Dawson that comes off. Comes off Dawson's head.
Well, with Isak off the pitch and changes all over the pitch, they've looked to somebody different, and Fabian Schär, who has been good for a goal over the years, has stepped up from centre back, 30 yards out, and hit one that's clipped off the top of Craig Dawson.
Totally wrong foot of the keeper, didn't it?
And
keeper had no chance.
Sam Johnston, and Newcastle are back in it at 1-1. Now can they go on and win it? Almiron and Osula, who's yet to make his debut. It's been an unused substitute, William Osula, in all of their matches in League and Cup this season, warming up in the corner.
I think Andre's struggling, you know.
Tommy Doyle is coming on, and Matt Doherty, the Irish international fullback or wingback, double Wolves change. So Matt Doherty for Nelson Semedo, that's a straight swap, and Tommy Doyle for Andre is likewise Doyle, the former Manchester City midfielder who was on loan towards last season, and they signed him permanently this summer. But it's 1-1 on BBC Radio Newcastle and NUFC TV. Fabian Schär, the scorer of the equaliser. It's given the away fans some belief, and it's given their support a bit more volume. But Wolves could have been further ahead, and now on the ball playing forwards, looking to try to go back in front. Doherty to Doyle, the two substitutes. Back it goes to Mosquera, Gordon chasing. Do you believe they can win it?
Oh yeah, you can now, yeah.
You've got to watch this because Doherty's in. Space on the near side. He's pulled it back for Mateus Cunha, and it's a powerful low shot that's hit Lewis Hall and gone behind.
Well, it was hopeful, wasn't it, from the angle it was at. Hall's just stood up big and strong, smacks him in the chest and goes behind for it. Corner kick on this near side.
Wasn't quite sure what Matt Doherty was attempting to do there with the ball back, but it almost paid off for Wolves. 12 minutes of normal time to play. Tommy Doyle with the corner into the middle of the 6-yard box and into the hands of Nick Pope. Now having a look, wanting to go quickly. Options left and right, and it's right where they go. Trippier, Murphy in the centre. It's Fabian Schär up the right wing. They look for Murphy, edge of the box. He collects and turns. Still Jacob Murphy, and Schär in the wide position. Everything slowed down by Newcastle, but they have the ball in the final third. Schär on the touchline for Tonali, back to Schär, maybe looking for Bruno, and Tonali, and back through for Schär, and Gordon, they can't get it in. It's going to be a corner.
Oh, it's a great little move. It's a great little pullback as well by Schär.
Wonderful football, brilliant passing, one touch on the right hand side. Schär, Tonali, Bruno, lovely footballers, all involved. They've taken a quick corner, back to Trippier, 30 yards out. Lewis Hall sticks it in, and it's headed up by Mateus Cunha and Ryan Aït-Nouri. Out for a throw on the far side. Hall back to Trippier, furthest outfield player back, might have to go to Pope, and does under pressure. Newcastle still have the ball. Pope's pass to Barnes.
Get at him, you'll do him.
Doherty, you've seen plenty of for Ireland. Barnes slowed it down, moved it to Willock. He's now got it just outside the box, gets away. Harvey Barnes could hit it. Harvey Barnes! Oh, what a goal! Harvey Barnes with an absolute screamer! And Newcastle United have turned it around with 2 goals from outside the box. Share with the deflection, but Barnes was all his own work, and what a hit it was! Drifted inside away from Doherty and curled it across Johnston and into the top corner. Harvey Barnes making a habit of scoring special goals, and it's Wolverhampton Wanderers 1, Newcastle United 2.
Oh, what a hit that is. I mean, he does that so well. He just drifts in off that left side, but he still has a lot of work to do, and it's a real good hit. Johnson's at full length, but he's got no chance of keeping that out. Brilliant.
Oh yes, what a goal. Breaks between players, then away from Doherty, and that's almost postage stamp, isn't it? You don't get it much further into the corner, a little bit lower than underneath the angle, but the power, the curl, everything in the shot, unsavable. And Harvey Barnes off the bench and into the match at half time has followed up Fabian Schär.
Hits the side netting. That's how good a strike it is.
In getting Newcastle not just on the score sheet but into the lead from a position of 1-0 down. They lead 2-1. We're now in the 82nd minute. And if the equaliser lifted,
well, they've been very quiet for the majority of this game, the Newcastle fans. Now all of a sudden they've got something to shout about.
Got even more elevation thanks to the Barnes goal. Wolves fans getting frustrated because Tommy Doyle wasn't moving the ball. He was looking around, foot on it, trying to find a pass. Gary O'Neill's going to respond by making a double change, but the ball hasn't gone out yet. Two massive goals to go from losing to winning. Wolves edge of the area. There could be trouble here. Trippier clears. Aït-Nouri's gone down in the box. They might need to stop the game. He's rolling around. Looks in a bad way. Dan Burn, half a header clear into midfield. João Gomez to Mateus Cunha. Aït-Nouri's got up. He's hobbling around. Can only put 1 foot on the floor. Doyle. And it's with Hwang. Back to Dawson. Unlucky for the first Newcastle goal. With the deflection, Doherty. Well, when Barnes just had that change of pace and moved away, Doherty wasn't going to be able to keep up with him. And I enjoyed as soon as Barnes had the chance to run, he said, "Get at him." And he doesn't have the pace, does he, Matt Doherty?
No.
Full back from Wolves.
Saunters through games.
His second spell at the club, Doherty played for Wolves and Atletico Madrid in between his time at Molineux. 2 goes at it. Free kick for a foul in midfield on Bruno in the centre circle. Bruno, bit of cramp, getting stretched by Tonali. Aït-Nouri needs treatment. Double change going to be made by Wolves in a second. I think Aït-Nouri might have collided off the ball with Trippier after Trippier had cleared it a few moments ago. Harvey Barnes comes to the bench for a drink. There is a bit more activity. Another change is coming. I'm not quite certain who it is. I think it's Lloyd Kelly. Yeah, it's 25. It's Lloyd Kelly who's taken off his training t-shirt and put on his maroon and blue top. Maybe just to make sure Newcastle get there and see the victory through, that they've turned a negative losing position into a winning one through Fabian Schär, long range but deflected, and Harvey Barnes, 20 yards curler, top corner. Barnes is their top scorer this season with 2.
Yeah, it gives the manager a bit of a headache now, though, doesn't team selection wise? Because everybody, the substitutions that he's made have had an impact on the game.
When I spoke to Eddie Howe after the Tottenham match, I asked him about Harvey Barnes and the goal that he scored there. That one-touch finish, opened up his body, managed to steer it into the far corner. Great goal, very different type of goal to this one. And he said that one of the reasons he likes him so much is because he's a winger who scores goals, and a lot of wingers don't deliver in that regard. They might be tricky, they might create, but Barnes' numbers with goals are very, very good, and they were for Leicester.
Yeah, he scored plenty of goals at Leicester, no doubt about that.
He got 5 last season. His record for Newcastle is 28 appearances, 7 goals, so that's 1 in 4. And not very few of those appearances actually have been starts because of the injury. So he is delivering. He's playing on the left, Gordon through the centre. Bruno is coming off, and Lloyd Kelly is the replacement. Bruno gives the armband to Kieran Trippier. Bruno applauds the away fans. Looked like a bit of cramp there, and perhaps they're just going to put an extra body in at the back.
Yeah,
play with 5.
Probably got the 5 at the back. Hang on to what we've got.
BBC Radio Newcastle. Wolves 1, Newcastle 2. A turnaround at Molineux in the second half. Lemina on 36 for Wolves, Schär with a deflection on 75, and Harvey Barnes in the 80th minute with a fantastic goal. He'll have 2 goals in the running for September Goal of the Month, for the Spurs one and this one especially. And we are now exactly in 87 minutes.
I think they'll be a bit added on, don't they?
Tonali with a big clearance up the right wing. They've made their 5 changes. Bruno just having his right leg, his hamstring, or maybe the glute stretched out by a member of the medical team. Gordon, tireless running, closing down the goalkeeper. Doyle bringing it forwards from the back. Boundless energy that Anthony Gordon has is so impressive and so important for Newcastle. Wolves go back to the goalkeeper again. It's diagonal and long and high and dropping from Johnston. Trippier wins the header in front of Hwang. Mateus Cunha, who's now finding himself in central midfield, very nearly lost it to Joe Willock. Newcastle with Lewis Hall here trying to make a challenge. It's Mateus Cunha now on the right wing. Dan Burns stabs it away. Wolves let it run. It's a throw right next to the corner flag. 2-1 Newcastle. A reminder, we're here till 7 tonight to talk about the match with John Anderson. If you want to send us a text message, 81333, put BBC at the start. On Twitter, it's at BBC Newcastle. Matt Doherty sending in a looping throw towards the near post. Schär header clear. Wolves header. Kelly gets it caught under his feet and then almost loses it, but now sets Jacob Murphy on his way. Gordon could have it, so could Barnes. Murphy gets his head up, clips it across to Barnes. Gordon in the centre, Willock as well. They could finish it here. Here's Sandro Tonali blocked. Tonali blocked by the boot of Johnston in the Wolves goal, as Newcastle very nearly made it 3-1 and game over.
Yeah, got lucky to keep. I don't think he knew a great deal about it. Threw a lot of bodies forward, Wolves. All of a sudden we broke. Chance to wrap it up.
Maybe it could have gone earlier to Gordon or Barnes because they were away, but Murphy helped create the chance. Now they're having to defend. Wolves have made a couple of changes. Lewis Hall there with two really good bits of defending under pressure, and with cramp as well. Lewis Hall has gone down. Referee stopped the game. Chris Kavanagh stopped the game because Lewis Hall, you could see he was struggling and he needs some help. Kelly and Byrne go to assist him. Cramp in the hamstring, it looks like. Wolves, by the way, have brought on Gonzalo Guedes for Jurgen Strand Larsen, the big centre forward who hit the post and had a header well saved by Nick Pope. And they've also brought on Carlos Forbes for Ryan Aït-Nouri. And there will be a minimum of 8 minutes.
Added time. 8 minutes.
Hall's back up, the throw from Doherty, and Nick Pope has it in 2 hands. And some appeals from Gonzalo Guedes, the Portuguese forward, that there was a foul, but Chris Kavanagh says no.
I didn't see any foul.
Dan Byrne felt he was fouled as it came across. Tonali, and they're both stretching across each other. Nothing in that you don't see in every duel in the box. If he'd given it, would he have been told to change his mind? Is it one of those? Back to Johnston, short ball out from the back. Willock putting pressure on Doyle. Newcastle still trying to play high and squeeze Wolves, who enjoy that ball back to the goalkeeper, and it's caused them problems today. Harvey Barnes with a clearance. Dawson in midfield does well. Little 1-2. Now Dan Byrne intercepts. Trippier to Schär, and away by Schär.
Anywhere.
Kicking for touch, Fabian Schär. 8 minutes added. Minimum of 8 minutes on BBC Radio Newcastle. 2-1 to Newcastle, having been a goal down as late as the 75th minute. Schär and Barnes with the goals to tip this one upside down, and Wolves now the team chasing an equaliser. But we've still got more than 6 minutes to play. Yerson Mosquera, the centre half, flat ball to Tonali. It's come off the outside of his left boot. Wasn't how he intended to clear it. It's a throw, level with the penalty box. Matt Doherty. He's got the long throw, hasn't he? Ando, the Irishman, Doherty.
Well, he can get it in there, yeah.
Here it comes, looking for the near post area. Barnes with the header across the box. Oh, great save, Nick Pope! Diving save, one-handed from Pope, from a Wolves volley. I think it was Mateus Cunha. That's a big chance. Now Schär with a clearance, out for a throw near to halfway.
What a save that is. Oh, strong hand.
It's a great hit from Mateus Cunha. Wonderful technique, but similarly for Pope to make the save and clear it away from danger. Here's Forbes with a cross. Still alive on the near side. Wolves attacking. Mateus Cunha, left-footed ball in. Player goes down, saying he was being pulled. It's Mosquera.
It's unbelievable the way they go down. They go looking for anything and everything. Dear oh dear.
There was, that one reeked of desperation from Yerson Mosquera. Dan Byrne gave him a push. He did have a bit of a hold of his shirt, mind, but I think Mosquera's on the way down, and not as a consequence of Byrne having a grip of his gold and black top. At the other end,
where's Hall playing now? Murphy's playing at left back.
Yeah, it's a bit, almost a bit disjointed. Lewis Hall's almost at centre forward. It's a back five. It's a 5-4-1. But Lewis Hall's gone centre forward. Here's Hwang with a cross. They've got a man free. Forbes with the header, and Kelly with an important bit of defending. Here goes Anthony Gordon. Wins surely.
Oh no, that's never a foul.
Referee wasn't sure, but the assistant gave it.
That's never a foul. He's won the ball as clean as you want. That's oh.
Mateus Cunha pulls Anthony Gordon up to his feet.
What a save.
Pope from Mateus Cunha. He's not necessarily the same type of forward player that Newcastle have. But I wouldn't be opposed to Matheus Cunha wearing a black and white shirt. He's very, very good. He's got loads of ability. We are into the 5th minute of additional time. 8 was shown on the board. Tonali, good touch to Gordon, left wing. Murphy, who's playing, as Ando said, left back. Hall to Murphy, good move on the attack. Newcastle, will they just go for the corner, or will they try and create an opportunity? They've won a throw next to the corner flag. They lead 2-1 from a position of 1-0 down, and they could be about to go 3rd in the Premier League. That's what will happen if they win. Jacob Murphy is almost out the stadium.
He's getting a yellow card.
The gap in the corner, the ball ran loose.
Getting carded.
And into the exit, the emergency exit next to the giant scoreboard. He just chased after it. Referee booked him for time wasting. There was another ball nearby on one of those discs, which have caused a few issues this afternoon. Lewis Hall at centre forward, Murphy at left back in a 5, Gordon left wing, Barnes right wing, Tonali and Willock in the middle. Just over 2 minutes of the 8 remaining. BBC Radio Newcastle with United 2-1 in front. Harvey Barnes with what could be a really, really special winning goal. Fabian Schär got the equaliser. Doherty for Wolves. Doyle on halfway. Dawson, the defender, has gone to centre forward, as has Mosquera. 2 6-foot-plus boys in there. Fabian Schär, diving header clear. Wolves head it back to Doyle. Newcastle just keeping players in defensive positions. Into the box it goes again. Header down, Mosquera trying to find something, away by Willock. Now Lewis Hall onto it. Just didn't really have the energy to get there, and he's still limping, suffering from cramp earlier. Header back from Lamina. Now Hwang, a layoff to João Gomez. 1 minute and 15 to play, with Newcastle still retaining their 2-1 lead on BBC Radio Newcastle. Carlos Forbes inside to João Gomez. The ball's beaten everybody. Lamina tries to keep it alive in the corner. He gets there just before it went out of play. Matheus Cunha away from Tonali into the near post area, cleared by Newcastle, but only as far as Lamina, wide left. They're camped in and around their own box here. Mosquera away, and deflected shot.
Offside.
Which way's it going?
Offside.
Offside is the decision, and it's a Newcastle free kick with 30 seconds of additional time to play, and it is the cue for Wolves supporters en masse to clear off. You can hear the plastic seats smacking against the back of the seat as they stand up and come to the realisation that their team has probably lost, having been in front with 75 minutes on the clock. 2-1 Newcastle. Pope up the pitch. It's all about the referee now. We're into a 9th minute of added on time at Molineux. Kelly to Willock, to Hall, back to Tonali, on to Willock. Joe Willock with Harvey Barnes played in. Barnes, can he get there before the keeper? He does, and it's just wide. Harvey Barnes could have sealed it with a 3rd goal.
He misses the easy ones. He only scored spectacular goals.
It's a big chance for Newcastle.
Big
had an
chance.
Opportunity earlier saved from Tonali, but it doesn't matter because the turnaround from Fabian Schär and Barnes with that screamer into the top corner mean that they have won at Wolves. It didn't look likely heading into the final quarter of an hour, but Schär from distance deflected, and Barnes, a curler, a wonderful goal, mean that they have turned it around, and it's a victory by 2 goals to 1. They move up to 3rd in the Premier League table, and for the first time since the days of Sir Bobby Robson in the year 2000, they win 3 of their opening 4 Premier League matches, 10 points from 4 games. And what it also does is it represents Newcastle United in the Premier League, a best start that they have made points-wise since 95-96, when they won all 4 of their opening matches, and that's without generally playing well. Today was better, but they were behind for a good 40 minutes. But what a turnaround, John Anderson.
Yeah, look, it's a goal good enough to win any game. You know, when you've got that quality on the pitch, you're always capable. I mean, he loves to drift in off that left-hand side, and it's an unbelievable strike. It's a real quality goal. But I thought we started the game well, and then we lost our way. We went behind, but the one thing they keep doing, they keep battling, they keep going. Rhoda look a little bit. Nick Pope's had to make a couple of top saves as well to keep us in the game. So, all in all, delighted. You know, still not at our best, but you've got to give them an awful lot of credit for keep going, keep plugging away. And as I say, the goal Barnes has got is good enough to win any game.
As players go to the away supporters, what an away end that would. Right now, imagine being in amongst that, big celebrations, and I'm sure big relief among the players that they got the turnaround, because they had started the game well. They had a couple of big chances. Wolves scored a goal that Newcastle will be disappointed about, and then the Wolves opportunities that they didn't take left the door open, and Newcastle got back in with Cher deflected off Dawson, and Barnes with a goal that you'll want to watch again and again on Match of the Day 2 tonight on the BBC and on BBC iPlayer. The players go pretty much the length of the pitch to thank the Newcastle fans. To go up to third, it's only 4 games in. You know, they could have lost all of the games that they've played, but they have 10 points. So you cannot grumble really with the points return. I mean, especially after what happened at Bournemouth, that's the only match that they haven't won. So in that regard, with some negativity, tension, concerns off the pitch, the transfer window, that side of things, on the pitch, ultimately where it matters, the points are coming.
Yeah, look, it's all about winning games. There's different ways of winning football matches. They've found that this season. They've found different ways of winning games. Hasn't been great at times. You know, I don't know whether it's a different style or they're still trying to find a way, but they keep finding a way of winning games. And as you say, when you've got the quality in the side of an Isak, of a Barnes who can finish the way they finish, you know, Cher from the back who can come forward and hit them. You know, there's still players out there who, I thought Bruno struggled today, I thought Joe Linton struggled today. I thought the substitutes that came on gave us something extra. So the manager's got a nice problem now, because, as I say, the substitutes that came on had a huge influence in the game.
A lot of players had to do a big job for the team in unfamiliar or different positions. Lewis Hall finishing off at centre forward, hobbling around with cramp. He had some treatment at the end of the game, but seems like he's all right. It was a big effort in the second half, a big turnaround. Kieran Trippier finished as captain, walking off with Eddie Howe, big smile. The two of them having a conversation. You want to send us a message about the match? It's on WhatsApp, BBC at the start, and 08000 321 333. 08000 321 333 on WhatsApp. Colin White in the studio will put some of them to John Anderson over the next half an hour or so on Twitter at BBC Newcastle. Remember, Total Sport back tomorrow, every weekday evening, BBC Radio Newcastle, and on BBC Sounds, where you can catch up with any show. Total Sport North East, all the latest on Newcastle and on Sunderland. Newcastle United have won at Molineux, 1-0 down on 36 minutes through Mario Lemina, Fabian Schär on 75, Harvey Barnes with a glorious winner into the top corner 5 minutes later. The unbeaten start to the Premier League season continues. They move up to third behind Arsenal and Manchester City at Molineux. It's finished Wolverhampton Wanderers 1, Newcastle United 2.
Bailey at breakfast.
Some scientists have found out that pigs can breathe through their backsides. So I want your amazing facts, Robbie and Dunstan.
So my go-to fact is that Edinburgh is further west than Carlisle.
What? I can't believe that. David in Newcastle.
The electric car was made before the petrol one.
Why are they so rubbish now then? Dan the teacher, what's yours?
Apparently, and I haven't checked this, you lay all of the veins in your body end to end. They would actually stretch to the moon and back.
I do like the way Dan had to clarify he hasn't actually tried it.
Matt Bailey at breakfast. Back Monday morning
from 6.
BBC Radio Newcastle.
Newcastle United have done it. They turned it round and won 2-1 at Molineux. Fabian Schär and Harvey Barnes with the 2 goals from outside the penalty area. A magnificent winner, in particular from Harvey Barnes. And as Razor has just said, Newcastle United third in the Premier League table, level with Arsenal on goal difference in second, just 2 points behind Manchester City, who they play in a couple of weeks' time. Let's head back to Molineux then, have a chat with John Anderson. Good evening, Ando.
Hey, Colin.
Who saw that coming with 20 minutes to go?
You didn't, to be fair.
No.
No. It was, I mean, obviously the Schär strike and Dawson flicking off the top of his head. I thought that gave us the momentum. And then obviously the goal that Barnes scores is good enough to win any game. You know, it's just real quality. He loves to cut in from that left side, but we see a lot of people do it and try to bend them and it all goes wrong. But this boy has got quality in that right foot and it actually hits the side net, and you know, Johnson's got no chance. It's an unbelievable goal. Unbelievable.
I'm going to start by reading you 2 messages that were sent to us at half-time. So William in Washington says at the moment it's Anthony Gordon against Wolves at the moment, and they've targeted him with niggly fouls. Bruno's quiet, Longstaff is poor, and Joe Linton's been booked. Changes are needed at half-time. Bring on Tonali and Barnes, or Willock if he's fit enough. And Ian sent us a message at half-time as well to say if Howe doesn't bring on Tonali for Longstaff at half-time, he deserves all the criticism that will come his way. Well, they were quite prescient because he did that, and they made a massive difference, those 3 changes.
Yeah, he did. I mean, he usually waits till around the 60-minute mark, but he obviously wasn't happy with what he was seeing in the first 45 minutes. He made the triple change, and to be fair, they all had an influence on the game.
That's a big risk. That's a big risk, making 3 changes at half-time.
Well, you're 1-0 down. He doesn't think it's going right.
Yeah.
He feels that he has to do something. He obviously wasn't happy with performances in midfield. You know, so he made those changes, and as I say, they had a huge input in the game. I mean, Barnes comes on and scores the winner. Tonali kept things ticking over, neat and tidy. Joe Willock's running with the ball. You know, he gets you up the pitch quick. So they had an influence on the game, and it gives him a little bit of a headache now for going to Fulham next weekend, because obviously he took off Joe Linton, he took off Longstaff. Do they get back in next week? It'll be interesting to see what he does.
Yeah, is that a genuine consideration, do you think, that on the basis of 45 minutes of football here, that...
Look, Joe Linton's been poor in the last few games. He keeps giving the ball away. He gets caught on the ball. He picked up a needless booking today as well. You know, so, look, at some stage, Tonali comes in. He's got to. He's got too much quality to be left on the bench. Barnes has shown yet again, you know, you can't keep leaving him on the bench, because he'll get fed up with that as well and say, hey, I want to be playing week in, week out. I've come on again today. I've scored a wonder goal, you know, so I want to start. And as I say, when Willock's fit, he's a different type of player to the rest of them, because he's direct, he picks it up, he gets you up the pitch quick. He puts defenders on the back foot, so yeah, it's a nice problem for him to have, though.
Oh, of course it is. Keep your messages coming in. 08000 321 333 on WhatsApp, 81333 for an ordinary text message. Start all of those messages with the letters BBC. For the first half of the game, really, maybe a little bit longer, it felt almost like the opposite of the first 3 games, where Newcastle haven't played particularly well but did have something to show for it. Today started a lot brighter but had nothing to show for it for a long time.
I thought they started better today, but then I think midway through the first half they lost their way again. Started giving it away. I mean, Wolves' first real move that they put together, they scored from. You know, to be fair, it's a good counter, ball down the right hand side, great little dummy near post, but he's not going to miss from there. And it was the first shot they had on goal. Second half, Wolves probably dominated. You know, Nick Pope has been called upon to make a couple of big saves. They've hit the post as well, and then the game changes with the share deflection. You know, as I say, gave us the momentum, and then the goal. If anybody hasn't seen it, they're going to have to watch it. It's pure quality.
Just on Fabian Schär, because obviously all the talk now will be about the goal that he scored, and quite rightly in many respects, but I don't know if it was a given that he would come straight back in for Emil Kraft, who hadn't necessarily done a huge amount wrong. Was it? Was it a given?
Yeah, I think it was, yeah. Look, this is nothing against Kraft, because I think he's been excellent since Schär's been out. I thought he was great against Spurs in that win, but Schär just gives you so much more quality on the ball. You know, he's comfortable on the ball. He can pass it short, he can pass it long, he can carry it out from the back. Once he was free from suspension, he was always going to come back in, Colin.
So therefore, actually, if I tweak the question, is Kraft unlucky to have been dropped? Because Dan Burn could have been the one that dropped out with Kraft staying in.
He's a little bit unfortunate, but I'm sure he realises and knows the circumstances that Schär's still number one in there, you know, because of the qualities that I've just mentioned. Kraft hasn't got those qualities. You know, he's a good defender, he's a proper defender, stands up big and strong, makes tackles, puts his head in the way of things, but he hasn't got the quality on the ball that Schär has.
I was going to mention him anyway, but there's also a message here, a WhatsApp message from John Steele, that starts by saying, fantastic 3 points today, but a big shout out to Nick Pope today. Some unbelievable saves. And yeah, I know it's his job to keep the ball out the back of the net, but there were some terrific interventions.
Yeah, the one right at the end from the volley was a strong right arm, you know, pushed it away. He made another one with his hand as well, that off Cunha. I thought it hit the post and it hit his hand. Strong arm to keep it out. You know, he's earned his corn today. There's no doubt about that. You know, he's kept us in it. He's made a couple of top saves.
John actually goes on to say, I didn't think Barnes played particularly well, but that hit and that goal is worthy of winning any game.
Oh dear. Look, when you score a goal like that, it doesn't matter how you play, really, does it? You know, if you can do that on a regular basis, and he can whip them into that top corner like that, I don't think too many people are going to complain.
No, I don't think they are. John goes on to say, worrying thing, Ando, the midfield is still a problem. Bruno and Joe Linton well off it today, and actually Kevin Corbridge as well sent us a message to say, Razor made a comment after about half an hour to say we haven't seen much of Bruno. Kev says the fact is Bruno hasn't been very good at all this season, and without our midfield general dictating play, we're lacking in ideas.
Yeah, I thought he wasn't as dominant self. He hasn't been as dominant self in these games. He looks like he's carrying a little bit of weight as well, if I'm perfectly honest. You know, and he struggled today, and obviously he got cramp. I know he's been away playing in World Cup qualifiers, but yeah, he hasn't been at the same level this season. And Joe Linton's the same. You know, in recent games, Joe Linton's been poor. You know, he keeps giving the ball away. Again today he picked up a needless booking. So we'll have to see with those two, because as I say, those that came on had an influence on the game.
Yeah, how much leeway do we give Bruno, in the sense that he did play in South America on Wednesday night, and that is
but even prior to that. Yeah. No, but even prior to that, his performances haven't been great. Yeah. You know, he hasn't been grabbing hold of a game and running games. You know, yes, I appreciate that he's been away, and it's a long trawl back. There's no doubt about that. But even before today, his performances haven't been what we've become used to.
Thank you for your message, John. 08000 321 333, the number to send a WhatsApp message to. The number for your text messages is 81333. Huckleberry says, who would have taken third in the table at this stage? Everybody. They also go on to say, got a sneaky feeling that after a shaky start, this could finally be our season. Now, I don't know what that necessarily means in terms of outcomes, but everybody would have taken third in the table and 10 points from the first 4 games. There's no question.
Of course you would. Yeah, you most definitely would have done. Look, to be in the position that we're in and to have played particularly well. You know, Razor made a comment in the games that the 4 games that we played in the league, we could have lost all of them. Yeah. And if we had lost all of them, nobody could have complained because of the way that we played. But we found a way to win games. You know, I suppose the concern would be, can you keep doing that? Can you keep playing poorly, not to the levels that you've been at, and keep winning football matches? It becomes harder, you know. And you're having to score wonder goals as well to get these wins as well. So, but nobody will complain. I mean, at the end of the day, there's no pictures on the scorecard. You know. Yeah. It's all about, after 90 odd minutes, have you scored more than, when we've had this conversation on many an occasion, Colin. At the end of it, have you scored more than the opposition? And that's the only real stat that matters.
Yeah, I considered telling you that Newcastle had 51.3% possession, but it doesn't really mean anything at the end of today. So yeah, just
it was pretty even. Yeah, it was pretty even. You know, we started the game really, really well, and then we lost our way a little bit. Wolves came into it. I thought Wolves were a better side in the second half. They had the chances, they didn't take them, and they paid the penalty for that, you know. But look, it is what it is. It's another 3 points on the board, and everybody goes home happy.
Yeah, we're going to keep you for another 5 minutes or so. We've got a few more messages to go through as well. WhatsApp number is 08000 321 333. The text number is 81333. Start them all with the letters BBC. It's just coming up on 7:15.
On BBC iPlayer.
I'm on a train. It's the Glasgow to London night sleeper service.
Brand new drama.
I think we may have a problem.
There's been a hack check-in. Hijacks are so 20th century.
We're being controlled remotely.
This train is now a guided missile.
One of the passengers may be working with the hackers. Don't trust anyone.
You're never getting off, are we?
Night Sleeper departs tonight on BBC iPlayer.
Newcastle United won 2-1 at Wolves today. Fabian Schär and Harvey Barnes with the turnaround. Newcastle were 1-0 down at half-time. And in the other Premier League game today, Arsenal won the North London derby. A header from Gabriel after 65 minutes gave them a 1-0 win at Spurs. It means that they stay second, but Newcastle United go third, both on 10 points after 4 games, and both a couple of points behind Manchester City. Couple more of these text messages then. William from Washington, who sent us one at half-time, sent us one at full-time as well, and says, despite the win, he does say other things in fairness, but despite the win, we still have similar problems away from home, and I'm not too sure the way we are trying to play, says William. And that, I guess, has been a criticism for the first 3 games, is not and in the cup game against Forest, not really knowing what Newcastle were about, because they're not the pressing team of last season. So what's different this season? Did anything change this afternoon in that regard?
No, the pressing wasn't there.
No.
But our starting positions were better. I thought we defended higher up the pitch, but the press still wasn't there. The energy level wasn't there. I thought in the first 15 minutes or so we passed the ball a lot better. We kept it better than we have in the earlier games. Moved it quicker. But as I say, then midway through the first half we lost our way again a little bit. But what way they're trying to play, I'm not too sure, to be quite honest.
Yeah.
But there, from a starting position today, it was better because we defended a little bit higher up the pitch.
This one doesn't have a name on it, but it just says Harvey Barnes has to start the next few games because he scores goals. Yeah, he's the first Newcastle player to score more than one.
You can't argue with that.
That is very difficult.
Yeah, and he scores worldly goals as well. To be fair.
But basically unstoppable and almost indefensible goals. Jordy Dancer says, "Hi everyone. Is there any reason why we can't win the next 2 games? I should really enjoy my night in the big market later." The next 2 games are different because it's Fulham away and then it's Manchester City at home. There's a difference there. I understand the question because it's the next 2 before the international break, isn't it? Before the next one comes.
Unless he's referring to the cup game in between.
Oh, of course, yeah, that would make sense. That might make a little bit more sense because then it's very optimistic about why can't we beat Manchester City. But yeah, I guess that Fulham away is is always a game where Newcastle feel they could and should win, particularly after the start of the season now.
Yeah, Fulham's a place we've had recent success there. You know, we've been decent down there. There's no reason in the world why we should fear going down there. It's been a quite happy hunting ground for us. You know, went down there, won last year. You know, but it's all about how you go about it, Colin. You know, and today we went about it the right way. I thought the attitude, you know, even at 1 down, they kept going, they keep plugging away, and they keep finding a way how to win games, and that's all you can ask.
Yeah, while we were talking about that, Jordy Dancer texted back and said I was referring to the cup game, so that does make sense. The next two games being Fulham and AFC Wimbledon. Last one then, this is from Chris, and Chris says our problem is that Gordon wants to and should play on the left, but Barnes can't be left out. So is Anthony Gordon a long-term right winger because he's right-footed but is very good on the left-hand side? Yeah. How do you solve that problem?
With great difficulty, I suppose. Because they'll both want to play on that left-hand side. It's a conundrum for the manager. You know, if Barnes keeps doing what he's done today, there's no way in the world you can leave him out. You know, he's come on again. When he's come on in games, he's had an influence in games. He's scored goals. And as I say, you can't keep putting him on the bench because sooner or later he'll go, what am I doing? You know, I keep, when you put me on, I do exactly what you want me to do. I score goals, but I want to be starting football matches. And then you've got an England international who's just got into the England side. Looks like he's going to be a regular in there on that left-hand side. And he'll want to play on that left-hand side. So it's another problem for the manager. It's not a nice problem for him. You know, people say, well, it is actually because you've got two good players, but it's trying to keep both of them happy. You know, I don't think Gordon looks comfortable on that right side. I don't think Barnes will want to play there either, so we'll see where it goes.
We will indeed. Thank you very much, John Anderson. I know it's not the most pleasant of drives back home, so best of luck with that.
Be all right now after that, though, won't it?
Of course it will.
Makes it worthwhile.
It'll be a cheerful journey, a chirpy journey home. John Anderson, thank you very much indeed. And we'll be back on Total Sport from 6 o'clock tomorrow. I mentioned earlier that there was 2 Premier League games today. Obviously, Newcastle's win at Wolves and Arsenal's win at Spurs in the North London derby. Also today, 1 game in the Championship, and it is West Bromwich Albion who are now top of the table because they won 3-0 away at Portsmouth today. Josh Maja, formerly of Sunderland, scored inside a minute for West Brom, and then Alex Mowat scored twice in the second half, the winner coming in the 92nd minute, but the result was pretty much confirmed before that as well. So West Bromwich Albion win 3-0 away at Portsmouth to knock Sunderland off the top of the table because of a combination of that and Sunderland's unbeaten start to the Championship season coming to an end yesterday. They lost 3-2 at Plymouth Argyle. It was the first win of the season for Wayne Rooney's team as well. Joe Edwards scored the winner in the 93rd minute. Sunderland had gone ahead through Patrick Roberts, then found themselves 2-1 down. Romain Mundle scored an equaliser, but they conceded that winner late on. Here is Sunderland's head coach Régis Lebris speaking to our Sunderland commentator Nick Barnes.
Régis, I suspect you'll be looking back at that, and there'll be a lot of things to digest, to learn from the game overall.
Yes, we scored twice, so away it's never easy to score, and we did it. But even if during the first half we thought that we controlled the game, there was something in behind that we feel that we were not in our best shape today. And we conceded this 2-1, and we had the strength to come back. So we can say that it was a good part of the end of the game. But at the end, we conceded this third goal. So for us, we are disappointed, but not too much, because we know that it's a process, and it's still a young team. It's still a team who need to learn, and today it was a new experience. We didn't solve the problems, of course, because for example their wingers today were able to threat our defense all the time, and we were in difficulty as well to solve the second balls, and we conceded many counter-attacks. So it was anticipated, but on the pitch it's different, and we didn't able to do this today.
When you talk about the sort of youthfulness of the team, one area is at the point where you brought Alan Brown on, you're clearly trying to bring a bit of experience in there and to try and find a bit of composure, and that seems to be the area that's when a lack of experience it exposes the team.
I think we need to live many experiences to learn, and you can be very young or old, and it's the same idea. So this team has the potential to learn very quickly, I'm sure. And it's not because we lose today or lost today, it's just a question of process, and we'll have many games to travel during this league. It's like a long journey, so today we lost for sure, but we will learn very quickly, I'm sure.
So that's the Sunderland head coach Régis Lebris after their defeat at Plymouth yesterday. But some rapid work from Matthew Raisbeck in tracking down Newcastle, one of Newcastle United's 2 goal scorers today, Fabian Schär. We can hear from him now. Here is the Swiss centre half talking to Razor.
Fabian, that was a great turnaround, wasn't it? Do you feel you deserved it?
Yeah, I mean, when you 1-0 down away from home after half time and you come back, I think it's always a great achievement. I think we had some ups and downs in the game. Started well, then dropped a bit the level. I would say they scored with their first chance, and then it's always going to be difficult. But we turned it around, and I think big credit to the team, and yeah, big win.
It's another long-range goal from you. How much did that mean to you, especially today, your comeback from suspension?
I'm just happy I could help the team. I think it was like 15-20 minutes left, so we needed a goal. Obviously for me it was like I would say start of the season as well a bit. I was hungry to play and desperate to be on the pitch again, so yeah, great for myself, but just happy it was the start of the turnaround.
How good was the goal from Harvey Barnes to win it?
Even better than mine, I have to say. I mean, he scores. So his goal was amazing, top corner, great goal. So I'm really pleased for him as well, and the whole team. So yeah, great, massive win for us.
Last question. 10 points, 3 wins from your first 4 games, unbeaten. The results this season have been fantastic, haven't they? And you can't argue with that great start.
Yeah, 100%. It's been a great start. We're happy with the first few games. I think we know we can perform a lot better, but the most important are the results, and I think if we can improve the performance as well, I think we've lots to achieve, so we can build on the first 4 or 5 games and keep going.
Yeah, keep going indeed. It's all Newcastle United can do. That was Fabian Schär there, one of Newcastle United's 2 goal scorers today, speaking to Matthew Raisbeck after their 2-1 win away at Wolves that moves them to 3rd in the Premier League table. Just quickly, time to tell you about the non-league results yesterday, and the less time we spend on them the better, frankly, because Gateshead were thumped. It was their first defeat of the season, and it was a 7-1 hammering at Dagenham and Redbridge in the National League. We had 6 teams in the second qualifying round of the FA Cup yesterday as well, but just one of them is in the draw for the 3rd qualifying round. Dunstan will have a replay at Scarborough on Tuesday night, but it was a great draw for them against a side 2 divisions above them yesterday. But Blythe Spartans were beaten at home by Bury, Newcastle Benfield beaten at home by Wythenshawe, Hebburn lost 3-0 away at Chester, Morpeth lost 3-1 at Spennymoor, and South Shields lost 5-0 away at Macclesfield as well. Today in the Women's Championship, Sunderland were also beaten. That's a 2nd straight defeat without scoring a goal as well. They lost 3-0 against Southampton at Eppleton. Southampton scoring 3 times in the last 20 minutes. But there was a 3-0 victory for Durham yesterday at Portsmouth. Hannah Blake and Lily Crosswaite in the first half. Beth Heppel in the 100th minute, scoring straight from a corner to make absolutely sure. So that's 2 wins from 2 for Durham, but 2 defeats from 2 for Sunderland. No game for Newcastle United in the Women's Championship this weekend because there's an odd number of teams in the league. So there is plenty for the Total Sport team to look back on tomorrow. Total Sport will return with Simon Pride from 6 o'clock, so join us then if you can.
And Wolves looking for Strand Larson away from Dan Byrne on the far side. Byrne recovers. Larson into the middle. It's run across to Lamina. And Mario Lamina scores the opening goal. Newcastle have been the better team, but Wolves with a break. And it's finished off by a tap-in from their captain Lamina. 36 minutes played. Wolverhampton Wanderers 1, Newcastle United 0. Willock shifts it for Bruno. He moves it. Murphy could have it, but they can't find him. It's now Fabian Schär. He's had a try deflected. Oh! Fabian Schär deflected and in. Back from suspension, and Schär gets Newcastle level. A goal they really needed. 75 minutes played. Wolverhampton Wanderers 1, Newcastle United 1. Barnes slowed it down, moved it to Willock. He's now got it just outside the box, gets away. Harvey Barnes could hit it. Harvey Barnes! Oh, what a goal! Harvey Barnes with an absolute screamer. And Newcastle United have turned it around with 2 goals from outside the box. Schär with the deflection, but Barnes was all his own work, and what a hit it was. Drifted inside away from Doherty and curled it across Johnston and into the top corner. Harvey Barnes making a habit of scoring special goals, and it's Wolverhampton Wanderers 1, Newcastle United 2.
Total Sport North East.
On the station with Newcastle and Sunderland commentary exclusively live.
BBC Radio Newcastle. On the BBC Sounds app, on your smart speaker,
Play BBC Radio Newcastle.
and on your radio.
The sound of the North East is BBC Radio Newcastle.
At 7 with the BBC News, I'm John Barnes.